Welcome everybody to another episode of Uneducated MMA. I'm your host with the most Wander Bread.
Get that bread up. Let's go.
And welcome to another lovely episode. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host. Let's do these introductions correctly. I'm joined by the BMF champion of the world, I'm going to skip my co-host for a second. And we're joined by a lovely guest today. Now, of course, I put the call out to the world that I want the degenerates. I want the bums that are sitting on the couch until 2 a.m. watching the
right
fights.
there. You know
I don't know if he's doing that
Real
necessarily, but I was told that you are into the fight, so we're going to test that uneducated knowledge today. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by Jude here. Now,
do a 6'9".
to introduce my co-host to the right, now the reason I took a little bit of time, now we're going to introduce, I got a letter, I got a notification, I got a notice, I got something in the mail that this Justin's birthday was on Sunday!
It was popping.
And
More life.
I got to shout out shout out to Justin. I just want to give you some respect real quick. This is the dude that I spent hours on a regular basis at work, just fucking
Not working.
Not working, talking fights. So of course I got to celebrate the kid. And now they all wondered why I walked in here. You can't see the top.
Oh,
A giant cooler.
I was wondering why he pulled up with a cooler.
We're gonna avoid the label.
Pull up.
Birthday. Yo, this is a surprise. What a surprise.
Happy birthday.
Damn.
Frosting and all that.
We gotta
Oh, you got the Batman joints. Bow.
Batman.
It's lit.
Yo, for my birthday, I honestly had a Batman theme. Everyone was like, yo, nigga, how old are you?
Don't answer that question.
Shut up. Batman's fire.
Anyway,
There's no age to Batman, okay?
to start off this uneducated
That was
episode,
severe.
everybody, ladies and gentlemen, happy birthday to this Justin! Now make a wish.
Good
40
looks,
million
good looks.
subscribers. Just wish for 40 million.
$1 each.
We need
Let's get
40
it.
million subscribers.
40 million, let's get it.
Wish
We
for
gonna
that.
get there.
Wish for that.
40 million subscribers.
Just if you say it, it doesn't happen.
45
Blow the
million.
can. I can't fire him. Hey! Now get the shit out of here. It's a fire hazard. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, and we're here to talk about UFC 316. I just wanted to get it started. Obviously, you got to give flowers to the kid. This is going to be a great episode. This card has been something I've been waiting for a little bit. Not only is it going to be a great card, but it's also the start of the summer, ladies and gentlemen. We're here. We made it.
The summer's gonna be amazing.
We're in t-shirts.
Crazy.
We're in t-shirts right now. I mean, Justin had to throw the hoodie on. The AC was
Yeah,
blowing a little bit. But we
I
walked
got
in.
good AC in here, man. I like that.
I was sweating. So it's good. I feel like it's going to be a good card to kick it off, and I'm excited for it. I think that this is going to be one that, we're going to see. Is Sean, is he the champion that we thought he was, or does he not have it anymore and he can't reclaim that belt from Marab? I think Marab's going to hold it, but we'll get into that.
I was like, what did you think he was?
So now we've had guests here and there, so I want to just kind of start this off with kind of doing something that we started off with our last guest, and I'm going to bring it to you. Now, we're going to start off with this, and I want to let the table, I want to set the table up.
Talk to me.
Yeah.
You just joined the UFC. You're an amateur fighter. You've had a couple of fights. You had a couple of pro fights, and you're still kind of trying to find your way. Now you're in the big leagues. You're walking out. You got your theme music hitting. What's the song?
I'm the Man by 50 Cent.
That's hard. That's hard. Walkouts going. Walkouts going. You're feeling tough. You walk in. You give your coaches your props. You get into the cage. They shut that door. Now, Bruce Buffer's looking at you, and he's got the cards in his hand. What's the nickname?
The Violator.
Ooh.
Hey,
That's a good one.
The Violator.
Don't drop the stuff.
I was gonna say that one might come back to haunt you a little bit, but I like it nonetheless.
Get violated, nigga. Every time you win, you just got violated.
Getting violated
Like
when a fight
Marab
is
did
horrible.
O'Malley.
Nobody more violent
Who's
than
his last
violent.
Try to open up. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
That was dope. That was a good name.
See, I like the intro.
Scary
I feel like people
name.
get
Scary
hyped when they
name.
do that. I feel like it's
sir.
good. Everybody got to come up with a nickname. For one of the last episodes, I can't do it. I get Juan, this, that, the third. As you heard with him before the mics heated up, man. I can't escape it. I don't know what else I would do. I feel like everything. That was the cooler dropping, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone's safe.
Don't worry, the violator's here.
The violator's still there. I feel like I couldn't do another
That elbow
nickname.
sharp, man.
Elbow cut you.
Gotta keep it sharp, man. And then we're gonna kick off this card by letting you pick. How would you like to start? Would you like to start from the bottom of the card, first fight of the night, into the main card, or would you like to go all the way to the main event and then go down?
Let's start bottom up.
Bottom up?
That sounds like something the violator would say.
Two watch.
I already know it's gonna be a good episode.
Hey, man. Authentic with it.
All right, so let's do it. Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland to kick off the card. We had a little bit of a card switch up a little bit.
Yeah.
There was originally supposed to be Mario Bautista was supposed to fight somebody else whose name escapes me. And then they ended up falling out of the fight, so they had to do a little bit of a reshuffle. Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland seemed to be not last minute, but a little bit. And they kind of moved it up from the prelims to the main card.
What's the weight class?
So this is going to be at 170. Normally, I feel like around 185. Kevin Holland kind of moves up and down, but Vicente Luque is a firm 170. I think this is going to be a fun opener, but I think it's a weird mix of fighters. I just feel like
Kevin Holland.
I'm going Big Mouth, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what everybody's talking about, but every time I watch that boy fight,
Yeah.
he getting better and better.
He
He's
is.
sharpening up his skills.
He is.
And now he's more balanced, right? More of a mixed martial artist compared to before, where he was better of a striker. The ground game wasn't everything people gave him credit for, but he started showing. I got some submissions. I got some things down
That
there.
last fight, he kind of.
Yeah.
He still
Yeah,
won. He
grappling.
still did good.
Yeah.
I was expecting difference, I guess, from him, more striking, but or more a little entertaining from that fight.
Yeah.
But he still won and he got it. I had to watch it again, and he definitely got that one.
For sure. I think that's been the thing that we've been bringing up a lot. I know that you've made this point before where, like, Kevin Holland just needs to show up. Like, he's got the skills. We've seen the technique. The dude is good. But sometimes I feel like he just shows up and just...
Gets the money.
He just wants the money, you feel me? Like,
He
he
doesn't care
for the
that
belt.
day, just that day.
But I think, with where he seems more focused now, I think it's going to be him being more tactical in the approach. And I feel bad for Vicente because he was one of my favorite fighters for a few years.
Right.
But now, just looking at it, that chin's been depleted a little bit, man.
for sure.
You get hit a couple of times over the years, right? You may still have the skills, but you can't take the blows like you used to, right?
No,
and I feel
absolutely
like
not.
Big Mouth is going to use that range on him to...
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the Rocky movie. I think it was 3 or 4 or whatever. Where he was like, it's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you get hit and keep on fighting, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's the issue that I'm seeing now. A lot of these guys, when they're getting older in the 170 weight class, like their chin is just going. Something I wanted to bring up that has to do with some of the recent fights that we're having. I think it's over for a lot of the guys that we know at 170. I think that they're on their way out. Gilbert
age.
Burns, Durinho just recently lost
broke
as
my
well.
heart. I
broke
couldn't
your heart,
believe it.
right? That was sad to watch, man. He got KO'd round 1.
One of my favorite fighters.
Definitely
Just
broke his heart.
Yo, I swear, it's like all my favorite fighters constantly
Just
lose.
listen to this list, and I want you to tell me if you think any of these guys have a title shot in the next. I'll give you 2 years. Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Vicente Luque, Leon Edwards.
I'll say
Maybe Leon.
Usman
Really? A title shot?
over Edwards. I'll
No,
say
Edwards,
Usman or Wonder Boy.
if he wins this fight, this is a make or break for you.
Yeah, this is definitely the make or break round. But Edwards,
He needs to win
I
this
need to
shit.
see how Usman looks when he goes to fight in Atlanta. I think that fight's going to be great. Especially
I think it's
for
going to be a good one, but I think Buckley got that one. I'm not gonna
I
lie to
do
you.
think Buckley has
Yeah,
it,
no,
but
right.
this is what
I
I'm
mean, Buckley
saying.
not. He
It's
does
going to
not
be
have
very
it.
interesting to see how Usman shows up because even with that fight with Hamzat, he showed some signs
he
that
did good.
he can muster it back up, right?
Yeah,
but he started off slow. So I think if his confidence comes back to him and he goes back in there confident with the mentality of I am a champion and I can do this, you may see Usman get back to top shape. If he goes in there and doubts even for the slightest chance,
I guess Buckley for sure.
He's
Buckley
gonna
has.
get wrecked.
Do you think? I know that this is going to be like skipping around a little bit, but do you feel like if he lost that fight, that might be the last time you see Kamaru Usman?
that is.
I think so too. I think that he's kind of at that point with a lot of these guys where like it's fight for the title or broke. Like there's nothing else. There's
It's just
no reason to keep it
The
going.
knees are done, man.
Podcast for him.
Like how many L's in a row do you feel like? All right, man, that's it. Like I should give it up.
That's the thing, man. Some of these guys can't give it up. They just keep it going. Because then you have this weird mix of the championship guys, and right? You have the championship guys, and then you have guys like Tony Ferguson's. You have other guys that are like fighting 50. They want to get to 50-0 in the UFC or whatever, just because they love the game, they love the hustle. It's a bad way to go, man.
And you got to think, some guys, right, the way they look at the fights, it's okay, I can beat the up-and-comers. I can beat whoever's like around my rank. It's when I start trying to climb up top 15 to top 10, all of a sudden now I'm back to losing again. So it's like, I'm still good enough to beat any of the top guys in the 15,
just kinda like stuck
but trying to get to that, you know, if I make it to 10 and you put me against 5, I'm going to lose. But if I'm at 15 and you put me at 10, I can beat 10, right? So it's like...
It's a weird spot to be in. We were talking about, like, with Gilbert Burns, where, like, I feel like he's in the spot where he's, like, in the gatekeeper type of situation where now I'm thinking that maybe... I think he still beats a couple of guys in, let's say, like the 10 to 15 range, but I think that even the 5 to 10 is going to be a problem for him, let alone the 1 to 5. Forget the 1 to 5. I think that even that 5 to 10 is going to be a problem for him to fight any one of those guys. So we'll see.
That's what broke my heart, man, because I used to always think he was one of those 7 and up guys. So I was like, you know what? If you're, at 7, you can put him there, but any top 5 guys, you can give him a matchup, maybe not win a championship, but he'll give you a fight enough that you'll say, hey, this guy's a contender. Watching him get lost
like
in the first round,
so quick, exactly,
by a guy that, has never won anything, I was like, wait a minute. This kid made you look like the rookie.
I think Michael Morales is going to be a problem. I think that he's going to be somebody that we're going to have to look out for at welterweight. He's at 170, so not Miles Morales.
Rumors they're working on. Rumors they're working on Leon Edwards.
I think that's going to happen, but I think that's going to be a huge jump for him, though. I feel like
don't let him bully you, son.
I think that time is over.
He's bullying you.
He's getting bullied. He's getting bullied bad. Yeah, I think it's over for Leon Edwards personally. I don't think
he got a lucky shot that day and it worked well.
But this would be his first chance of not having to fight like such a grappler.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it's always been like
it would be interesting.
Wrestlers.
My only concern is that I don't know if you like rewatch that. Morales got power.
Bricks for hands, man.
I understand where it's like, I know that Leon is really good, he's very tactical and everything like that, but I feel like even versus certain strikers, he still gets tagged, and I feel like, like you said, bricks for hands, let one of those hit his chin and it's done for him. I don't know.
And it may not even need to be the chin. The way I watch Morales' fight, I rewatch that, he can get you body too, and that's where it becomes a problem for some guys to realize, okay, it's the difference in power, right? You're like, I just hit him with my hardest. He bounced back a little bit. He hit me with his hardest. I can't breathe. Right? That's the difference. He catches you in the diaphragm. Your body may shut down, and your mind's like.
No, he's definitely bad, man.
He definitely seems a lot hungrier.
For sure. I mean, dude, he's 18-0 right now. After that, when he's 18, I would say he's pretty hungry right now. But I think he beats Leon Edwards, and with the way that like the rankings are set up and who's in the top 5, I see him beating Leon, and just for the namesake and his undefeated record, give him a title shot.
Why not?
You got what? You got JDM is the title holder right now, and then he's probably going to fight Islam in a few months. Whoever wins that, I mean, you got like Shavkat in the mix. That maybe.
What if Islam is just like the gatekeeper of all gatekeepers? Like he doesn't let nobody.
I'm not gonna lie. I think that
he ain't moving.
See how strong he's looking lately?
He ain't moving from that weight.
I don't know, brother. I don't think going up is gonna do well for him.
You don't think so? Listen, I'll tell you this. I think JDM. I think he can get JDM, but I think he's gonna have some problems with the Shavkats. I think that's who's gonna give him a real big problem.
Because I get that, like, that's your natural weight, but also that's part of the problem. It's natural weight, right? It's not defined, sculpted, right? Like trained weight.
But at the same time, they rehydrate themselves to get back to around the same way when they walk into the cage, though.
But that's my point. It's one thing when you're already cutting down and all you're rehydrating is just water, right? You're just hydrating. When you're walking around at that weight, that's calories. That's tissue, right? True. Like, so now you've been eating what you've been eating, and you're saying to yourself, I don't have to cut as much, I don't have to do this, right? Now that's more body that you're gonna feel when them hits come.
Dagestan won't let him slide.
I don't think Coach Khabib is gonna let him slide.
But it's just, the difference is you're looking at the bigger guys that walk around and shred down to that. So you're looking at somebody that's leaning out to that.
Which is exactly what he does in his weight class right now.
But that's what I'm saying. So when you're not shredding, but the other guys are shredding, they're gonna be lean and cut and raw. So them elbows is gonna feel a little tougher to you. Ain't gonna be those top.
I'll tell you right now, I'm just gonna rate off the top 5, and I think he beats most of the top 5, except for I think 2 guys would give him a problem, and even then, I think realistically only 1. So Islam is gonna fight JDM. That's gonna be what happened. The top 5 of welterweight, we got Bilal Muhammad, Sean Brady, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Leon Edwards, and Kamaru Usman. I think he beats almost everybody. Shavkat's the only one. That's the only name.
And
I can see a Sean Brady.
I was about to say Sean Brady.
So that's the thing, is that
Sean Brady can have like a.
So where is Chimaev ranked?
So he is. He's at 185 now. They got him firm at 185 because now he's gonna fight DDP at the end of the summer. He's gonna fight DDP for the title in August. That's gonna be a great fight.
Yeah.
We're gonna have an episode just going over the summer card.
Yeah,
by the way. The summer cards are gonna be.
I will be back.
For sure. We got so I think he clears out most of the people in the top 5. But the worry that I have here is that sitting at 6, 7, and 8 right there, Ian Machado, Gary, Joaquin Buckley, Michael Morales.
Tell me, bro. Buckley's
young
That's why I said in 1 or 2 weeks,
Buckley's gonna
those
take
top
out.
5 may look completely different. And by the time he goes to fight,
Those are the
that
future
may be
champs.
some of the questions you're going to look at and say, okay, Ian Machado Gary is not soft, right?
Oh,
yeah,
Joaquin Buckley has shown you every day he's growing also as a martial artist, right?
Yeah, he's gonna take out Usman, bro.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Usman versus Edwards.
And I think
That's gonna be their last.
Maybe
Yeah,
it is.
funny.
That would be nice.
But I think Usman's gonna have an impressive fight and still lose.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like his last.
I agree with you on that.
Oh, he
I
still
agree
got
with
it, but like he still Adesanya, like his last fight.
Yeah.
Like you can see he still has it.
Would you be cool with that? It's like he still got it, but he don't got it enough. Would you be okay with him going away? I think I want him to win, go out on a win, but at the same time, I'd be happy. We'd be like, he still got it, but he knows he's got to walk away right now.
Yeah.
But he knows. He's
I think he does one more after this, but he is gonna be impressive and lose.
Yeah. I think
Maybe they run him and Burns again.
that wouldn't be bad. That would be a good walkaway fight.
Like, yeah, that would be good for
the
that.
same way
If
we
he
got
doesn't want
Poirier
to fight,
versus
I
would.
Holloway.
that's
Give me
gonna
that.
be mine.
Wait,
That's gonna be a crazy
where's
fight.
Usman in the same camp? Aren't they in the same camp or no?
No.
Okay. Well, then
You're talking
he can fight.
England
Yeah.
to U.S.
Yeah, I think that they would match them up. I feel like
If not, Burns would be good.
I just don't see him.
Burns and him were same camp.
Bro, I'm looking at this right now. I don't see Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards. I think they could do that again. But him versus Shafkat, I think is a bad idea. Him versus Sean Brady is a horrible idea.
Yeah. Anybody
Bilal,
else? Bilal, maybe. Maybe.
the wrestling I think would be the interesting part about that. But I think Bilal would actually try to keep it
You
off.
heard Bilal's tweets or on X now talking about how I didn't stick to the how I didn't stick to the game plan. I should have stuck to the game plan.
Yeah, I watched a quick interview piece where he was talking about that, where he was saying that he just, you know what it is? I think I kind of believe him because of the amount that he kept saying Canelo hands. The amount that he kept talking about those Canelo hands, I think he really wanted
to knock out.
He wanted to prove something.
I'm gonna say this directly to you as someone who said, what's his name? I don't remember all that.
Yeah.
I think that he was trying to do that for you.
Yeah,
I think he was trying to do that for the people like you that just
He did it. It's just why I still clown him.
Yo, for sure. I agree with you. Here's my thing.
He tried.
Yeah.
I like Bilal.
I do like Bilal too.
But here's my thing when I say he tried to please you guys is that I think that's where he messed up. He tried to get the fans on his side, bro. Who cares?
Stay the villain.
Paid.
Stay the villain.
Get paid.
I definitely have an episode where I'm just saying like he needs to just stick to what he's good at.
That's what I'm saying. Get
works,
paid.
it works.
What got you there?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I hate. People get there and then they try to change up what's been working, what's been efficient, what's been successful, right? And it's just like, look, you're the champion, and if you want to have a good championship run, don't listen to the haters. Look at, when you look at exactly who we're talking about, right? Like Islam and all these other guys, right?
Yep.
If they listen to everybody else, they would not fight their style. The Dagestan style has been getting hated on for so long, but a lot of fighters can't find the counterpunch, right?
Yeah.
They can't find the ways to get them out of there. So it's like, okay, we have something that works, and you don't like it because you can't find an effective
There's
way to
knees to the ground now. That's all I'm saying to any fighters listening.
6 elbows, the whole nine. You can
I
figure it out.
noticed that they
Man,
have.
Prime Joan Jones in this era with these rules.
Yeah, let me just scoot this up a little bit.
Let me just give this
It's like a race. Every reference they could.
Nah, Jones is out, bro. Jones is out. He should have wanted to take Aspinall, but
Why?
what do you mean why?
Why?
What do you mean why? Aspinall is on the run for the
Again, why?
to
Why
claim
hold on to
and
the
own
belt this long?
Yeah.
He didn't choose to hold on to the belt this long.
No one's trying to take it away.
Chose to keep the belt with him this long.
Yeah.
Now,
I
if he
personally
wants it, once he was out for so long and someone else has been taking it and running it, and you want to prove yourself instead of going for like, hey, I just want to fight Pereira, I just want a big fight. I'm not gonna say he's afraid to fight Aspinall, but it didn't look like he wanted to.
He's made it clear that he doesn't want to.
Yeah, but
and
then
that's why I think people have the argument, and that's why I ask why, right?
Because this is the belt. Like, this is the belt I'm holding.
Yeah,
I want to claim this belt.
He's not
like, hold
fighting
on.
for belts anymore.
I know,
That's why I keep asking people. The idea that you have
Why
is
fight in
that
the UFC?
He's not interested
because
in the
he is the
rankings,
greatest
sure.
fighter ever, right?
But
And
he wants to claim the greatest fighter for that belt, right?
No.
And someone else has it right now.
He doesn't want to claim greatest fighter for any belt. He wants to claim greatest fighter in general. And the fact that his career from start to finish has shown you why he's the greatest fighter makes it easy for him to then say, hey, I can choose who I fight moving forward because I have earned that. Whether you as a fan believe that or not, his career says that.
Yeah.
Because
he
guess
can
what?
choose, but there's someone else holding his belt.
Now,
He can give the belt away and choose tomorrow. He wants to fight for it.
Here's where
I think it's
I'm going to say this.
I
I'm
like
going to
Joe.
agree with you fully.
Yeah,
I'm going to agree with you fully, right? I get your point of view. Now, here's my counter argument on that. If I was him, legends, I just want to go for legendary fights. I just want that legendary money. I understand the idea of like, why would he want to keep the belt? Contractually speaking, you do get paid more as the champion. I would say at this point in his career, he gets pay-per-view points no matter what. So if I was him, after Stipe, I would have been like, this is why I'm the GOAT. Take this. Whoever wants it next that I want to fight, that's who I'll go for.
He definitely like,
And Dana's not allowing that.
That's my thing.
He left it open.
And that's where I think everybody gets upset, right? Dana made sure to keep telling everyone, this is the greatest fighter. He has that, and the belt stays with him. He's the interim, and Dana makes that choice for one reason.
Then why have Tom defend the interim belt?
For one reason, again, because now Tom's next fight, you get way more money out of the interest of you get to say, hey, Jones ducked this guy. Is he that badass? Is he that strong? Is he that powerful that the GOAT is scared of him?
And here's my counter argument. You don't think you don't get that off of his average fight time is like a minute and 38 seconds.
Yes, you do, bro.
He's near
Aspinall
perfect record.
I love John Jones. John Jones is definitely one of my favorite
Real quick,
fighters.
off of 12 days off the couch, just like Michael Bisping, walked into an octagon and knocked a big Russian out to go get a title. You're gonna tell me that dude isn't somebody you want to see?
And let me explain it to you. The reason you're saying it is also the reason why Dana is against it, right? You don't have enough fight footage to make the fights interesting.
Doesn't matter about fight footage.
See, no. See,
I kind of agree with him on that, though.
You don't have enough fight footage to make fights interesting. People want to see long fights,
Wars.
fights out of war,
Wars.
especially at heavyweight.
No, you
you
don't.
want to see the biggest hitters go back and forth, and that's the difference between in any heavyweight level.
I think John
boxing,
Jones is like-
the same complaints that you get. If you're a quick
understand.
knockout
Let me
guy,
put it to you this way.
That's good.
you get 1 to 5 fights where you can do that and it's interesting.
Yep.
Once that's all you're known for, no one wants to pay the pay-per-view because they can say, I can just go on YouTube
And
and,
watch
find a
highlights.
snippet for 30 seconds where you knock the guy
Bingo.
out. That's the difference.
He's
and
not
that's
wrong
the
with
beauty
that. Yeah, I'll give it to you that. I'll give it to
people
that.
don't get.
If-
That's the difference when I talk about this shit. I look at it from the fighter's perspective and from Dana's perspective.
If
I
you
look at
get,
it. I
if
get
you
that,
get-
but I'm not Dana, so I want to see
Dana.
knockouts.
Yeah, we know.
I want to see knockouts. Like as like a fan, I'm like, yo, I'm here to see someone knock him out. If you can knock him out,
But this is what I was gonna say. If you have an entire, let's say an entire pay-per-view, we're talking early prelims and main card, and everyone's getting knocked out in under 2 minutes, you ain't watching shit.
Right.
You ain't But if you have 4 out of the whole, I get you now. Alright, that makes sense.
Nah, I'm gonna pay for those 2 minutes because I'd rather see them. Someone get
Not
knocked
because
out.
you
He's
just
mad right
go on
there.
YouTube and watch the
To 2
highlights.
minutes?
You know what this is?
$1,000 for 2 minutes?
You know what you just described.
Hey,
You
hookers
wanna
will
watch?
love you.
You know what you wanna
2
watch?
minutes.
Slap fighting.
Nah, I've seen slap fighting.
Slap fighting is real quick and they get knocked out immediately.
Right.
I just feel like John
Wanna watch that?
John Jones is on a legacy.
Yeah, I do watch that.
He's beyond the belt. He's beyond the rankings. He's beyond the up and comers trying to be
Make a name off of him.
He's beyond that.
Yeah,
Like when
might as well just all right, then go out with the W.
I think he left it open for like, I'll let y'all know.
Right.
I'll see how I feel. But realistically, I don't think he was ever coming back.
I totally get. All right, I'm not putting my belt up. I'm putting my legacy up to get knocked out by some young dude. Pay me, fuck you, money. Totally get that. Totally understand
I don't
that.
think
But at
this
this
is the money
point,
either.
I feel like it's not that. He doesn't need
The money wasn't
Well,
asked
to be
for.
fair,
I think he
I
cares
asked,
for the
I asked
money.
you this question the other day. We were like watching fights and I asked him this question the other day. John Jones retires, right? What does he do?
Oh, so much.
To my knowledge, as of
thing
right
he's doing
now,
right
again,
now.
uneducated
Yeah,
MMA.
same thing he's doing right now.
To my
Whatever
knowledge,
he wants to do.
no, but in the sense of like,
Except shoot basketball.
what is what do you strive for? What's the thing that you then
So-
find that you do? Because I know a lot of these fighters either they create businesses or they have like a podcast or whatever it might be. Jones hasn't entered any of that space because I guess he's still actively fighting.
That's so maybe this is the education part. So he has actually multiple real estate businesses that he's been doing.
Okay.
He has the gun shooting club that he does in New Mexico and trains with them and all of that. So he has so much to do, and he's finally fixing up his marriage. So that man is ready. That's why the last time a fan said that to him, he said, "You realize I have like so much other things going on for me that I don't need this anymore."
You know what it is?
He just wants to leave it open to have like, if I feel like popping now, I can't.
Improving something. And that's the thing. He wants to prove to himself
when I have to fight.
And then the thing is, he's already. Every time people tell him you have to prove something to the fans, he just ignores it because he's like, I have nothing to prove to you.
Nothing.
Only thing I have is to prove to myself.
Yeah.
And all I would want to do is pick the fights where I feel like somebody has as much to lose as I do, legacy-wise.
That's why the ducking comments don't bother me.
Yeah, because Pereira, if he had won that next fight, right, Jones would have fought him, and it would have been a legacy match of both of us want to retire and be out.
Yeah.
Because Pereira was already on that edge too, and people didn't realize it.
Yeah.
He was already, hey, I only went to the UFC because my career was already nearing the tail end, and I wanted to maximize how much
he's
I
almost
made.
40.
Yeah, these are older guys, and
Now
that's
he
why.
took this L.
And that's why
I
now
might have to stay
now,
fighting.
did you see how he was yelling at Dana and he's upset at them? He's like, well, y'all promised me this, that, and they
Trying to
said,
pretend that was a fake tweet, someone hacked his account.
right, yeah, no, you did that.
Aliens keep on hacking my shit.
Right. When they promised you if you kept winning, you would have privileges.
Yep.
Yes. Once you lose in that fashion and your hands don't look like what they are anymore, all of a sudden you look like a one-trick pony.
Yep.
You don't get to go back to the table and negotiate like you were doing before.
Nope.
And that's where people say Dana is ruthless, but that's the business.
That is
right?
the
That's the business, bro.
That's why it's weird when you, like you said, you sometimes you got to look at it the perspective of Dana White. Every now and then you got to throw the business owner hat on. You understand why they make some of these decisions, but I will say, at least in John Jones' eyes, maybe he did tell us to Dana, but at least from what I'm getting, and maybe who knows, this is all smoke and mirrors the fighters are doing to try to get the fight built or whatever it might be. Yeah. On Tom's side, maybe they're keeping him fully in the dark because he's literally like, what do you want me to do? Like, I was watching an interview with him and Mighty Mouse where he was basically saying, he's like, this is the harder part of fighting John Jones. This is this weird mental game that I have to go through of like, he's like, I
actually fight.
He's like, I defended my belt, and now I have this, maybe you're gonna fight this guy at some point. So all I get is the company telling me, stay ready. What do you mean by that? How long do I have to stay ready? The dude is
mentally give.
He is literally like mentally like trying to hold it all together because he's like, bro, there is no.
And I feel like that's also part of Jones's game. He's like,
well, that's what he's saying. That's a part of the John Jones game. So like,
it misleads him.
Dude, I feel so bad for that guy. Because also his best. I compare Tom Aspinall to Michael Chandler in this aspect, where his career and some of his best years are going away, waiting for some other dude.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's not fair.
Because
I understand why you said that, but Chandler is just a whole.
No, but I'm saying
that's why I said I understand why you said that.
In the aspect of just waiting for a big, I'm talking big payday, mega fight, career-making fight. You're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and shit, it might not happen. Right now, the Michael Chandler Conor thing is not happening, in my opinion. But I think the John Jones, Tom Aspinall, if it doesn't happen by November for MSG, no, right? You gotta move that one back. The least we talk about him. I think that if Tom and John doesn't happen by November in MSG, it doesn't happen at all.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen by the end of 2025,
so it's not gonna happen. I think Aspinall, it is a shame. I do agree that it's terrible to be up and coming. You've done all the right things. You've fought all the right fights.
You wiped everybody else in that weight class.
But again, this is the problem, right? Your only criticism is your success, right? You're so good at just making these fights quick that you can't sell like you're supposed to because, again, right? Some fans may want that, but for the masses paying that pay-per-view money, no one wants quick fights.
Which is crazy to think about because I feel like compared to the rest of the heavyweight division, he's an exciting fighter. Mm-hmm. A lot, and I'm talking, and listen, this is also going out, shout out to my Dominican out there.
Hell yeah.
I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to talk that much disrespect right now. But a lot of these heavyweights aren't that exciting. So the fact that you're getting someone that can go in there and blitz some dude and kill him in 2 minutes or whatever, I find to be pretty exciting. But I agree with you. To put him on like the main event, it doesn't really sell in most markets. Throw him on a London card.
Look at Black Beast, right? He doesn't even have to win, and he packs it out because you're gonna get. entertainment with the knockout.
Yeah.
The problem with Aspinall, he's not taking the time to entertain enough.
Yeah, I
he's
get it.
taking the time to go in there and be efficient.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like even John Jones, you know when you can knock some guys out.
hold
Like
on,
look
hold
at the
on.
Stipe fight,
Yep.
or look at when he fought Cyril Gane. He could have finished those fights,
Well,
both
he
of them
finished Cyril
earlier.
Gane
But you know what he did?
Yeah,
he
Cyril
took the
Gane.
time to show you, hey, I can still do certain things. I can grapple a little
So,
bit. I can get my kicks going a little bit.
I
The
gotta pause you.
entertainer.
I gotta pause you right there, just so we don't go too far. I gotta pause you right there to bring it back to the conversation we were having earlier. You just gotta do what you gotta do to win fights, no? Isn't that what we were saying earlier when it comes to these Khabib dudes and all these other laws? He's just doing what he's got to do to win the fight.
As a
it
fighter,
just ends in 2 minutes. It's on him.
But that's what I
As
said.
the-
Your
better.
only criticism is your success.
But as the
Right?
fighter himself, I'm gonna knock that shit out quick because I'm not trying to get injured. I'm not trying to. I'd rather have more quick fights and get paid more for these fights versus extending fights and possibly getting injured.
We just need more. I think we need more competition in the heavyweight division.
But it's
hard
hard
to
either
find
way.
it.
It's
Hard.
heavyweight, bro.
It's difficult to find
Just 'cause
somebody.
mixed
especially-
martial
There's a
arts,
certain
especially.
amount of pressure that's just gonna knock a human being out, no matter who you are.
It's just like-
heavyweights have that power, bro. It's gonna
They do.
it's
He's not gonna
happen.
fight because, like, let's just pretend like John Jones never came back.
Yep.
Tom Aspinall kept on going.
Tom Aspinall would have a very mid reign as a champion.
I honestly thought
very
that
mid.
the Russian dude, Pavlovich.
Pavlovich.
I said Pavlovich.
I thought he was
I was thinking about the Spurs.
It's not a game.
Call Pavlovich.
Popovich.
He'll mess somebody up too. But no, yeah. I honestly thought he was gonna be on a good run, but Tom Aspinall came in.
He came against a beast.
The thing is that when it comes to heavyweight, bro, it is a very small margin for error. Usually when you should have zagged, you get clipped and you get
And it's a
knocked out.
wrap,
It's
bro.
just
Look at Blades.
Yeah, look at Blades. That's the thing is like no matter how
Exactly.
skilled these guys can be, like even Tom Aspinall, I will argue like John Jones doesn't necessarily have like knockout power like that. He's more like I'm gonna whittle you down and break you and then get you.
Yeah.
Versus like I would argue if you put that fight Tom Aspinall versus Pavlovich 10 times out of 10, I would go 5 out of 5. Like you really don't know.
Yeah.
Whoever lands first, man. Like at that point, it's whoever lands first. So I don't know how if that necessarily is gonna give you any sort of like a litmus test of like where it is, but I would say that like the heavyweight division is trash.
Yeah.
I think that if he were to hold on to the belt, John Jones never came back, he'd have a very mid reign. I think we'd all be talking about how whack the division is, and honestly, I'd probably say with the level of athleticism he has, he'd be reigning for a long time.
Oh yeah.
I
I mean,
agree.
I think honestly,
with, like, Derek
if
Lewis.
this goes the way it is, then maybe Dana needs to get in the talk of Aspinall versus Ngannou.
So
I'm glad
I
he
don't
ain't
know.
coming back.
I don't know if he's willing to do
Yeah, he
business with
ain't coming
Francis
back.
no more.
He should
unless
after losing
there's-
his last boxing
I
fight.
know that's the thing.
But that's what I was gonna say.
I think
That's why I
maybe
think it's
now-
possible.
Yeah.
Because he lost the boxing fight, and
Back.
for one championship, they're not interested. They don't have interesting fights like that at the heavyweight division.
He lost
so
that
he's
boxing
fighting
fight.
guys
Yeah.
that are
He
like
got
really bums compared to the UFC.
He is.
So it's even harder for him as a knockout
No,
guy to
and
sell.
I'll tell you this
Joshua
though. I'll tell you this.
is a beast.
With Francis over there at the PFL, with the whole like PFL Africa and all that kind of stuff. If he's, I think the PFL is failing.
Oh my
And
God.
from what I've seen, I
Yeah.
think the PFL
Dana's
is
trying to get him out of there.
If he's, this is gonna be really kind of like messed up to say about a company, but if he's able to squeeze every last dollar he can out of the PFL before they go under, good for Francis, and then retire. That's me.
Get your bread up.
Get your bread, get paid the crazy amount for the super fight division or whatever you're in, and get your
he's
money,
gonna
get
go-
out.
he's gonna go
If
back to
not, figure out a way out of the contract, go fight at the
Nah,
UFC 2 more times.
Francis would go
Walk away.
fight in Dubai versus UFC, bro. I don't know what
But
it is.
that's who might still pay for the fight.
Exactly,
It
but-
doesn't matter who pays for it, but if you do Aspinall and Ngannou,
Yeah.
that's gonna be
Now,
something that would.
I heard a
both of
rumor
them.
today. I was on X scrolling. I'm gonna call it
Twitter
It's Twitter.
So, yeah.
It's like
X is
to the
trash.
death.
Yeah.
Do you post?
You know what's
do you
better?
post on
Just
X or
watch-
do you send a net? Like, I don't know how it works. Anyway, I was on Twitter and I saw a tweet. Thank you. It's a rumor. I got a disclaimer. Rumor.
rumors are real.
Tom
man.
Aspinall, Cyril Gane, August.
It's gonna happen because Jones ain't gonna fight.
Well,
It's just
John
a
Jones
mandatory
has
fight,
been
and-
saying stuff like
Jones ain't-
I don't know why the UFC hasn't told you what the
But
thing
again,
is and all that kind of
right?
stuff. So who knows?
Good matchup doesn't sell,
No.
right? And
To
that's
be
the
fair,
problem to both
I would,
of them.
I would
Still,
argue
not
it
as
is both, but
Not
it
as
leans a lot more on Cyril Gane.
Cyril Gane's nice, but like I don't give
Is
a
he?
damn about Cyril Gane.
Is he? Cyril Gane is.
He's nice.
Again, Cyril Gane is.
for the heavyweight
Again,
division.
you gotta talk about. You gotta say like that on context, like comparatively to the rest of the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
Like he looked amazing piecing up Tai Tuivasa. Love Ty.
Love Ty, but
Chewy
Ty was
and all
on
that. But that was not a good fight.
Down has been on.
Homie, he was hitting a heavy bag that was slowly moving around the octagon.
Wait,
what is that?
Who's the dude that beat? I don't know if it's the same weight class. Justin Tafa. Is that it?
That is heavyweight, yeah.
Yeah. Who just beat Justin Tafa? It's
Let me see.
Oh, that was
what is the dude's name, bro?
Wasn't that was like
I couldn't pronounce his name. Remember, like I had to take a shot because I couldn't take it.
I don't know.
I'm about to take a shot right now. It was recently, but
I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know. I want to say the name now.
yeah, well, look it up because he just beat Tafa, but I'm about to take a shot either way, bro.
Either way, but you think him, whoever this mysterious?
I don't know, man, because Cyril Gane.
I don't know.
There is no
Said
other
about it,
contender
bro.
that is up to that level, right? You
Like, I
fought
know
John
Derrick Lewis
Jones,
ain't
you
on
were
the
doing
list,
well before.
But I'd rather see Derrick Lewis, bro.
Is there anybody?
That's why I said
We've already seen
entertainers.
too many. Exactly.
Is there anybody
Because it's
new?
both. It has to be.
Many
still
up and comers
entertaining.
kind of climbing. Is anybody kind of making some noise at all?
Because we don't want to see Aspinall fight Curtis Blade.
Costa's been.
Taliesin Teixeira.
That's the dude? Yes, that's the dude. And before he fought Tafa, I think he was ranked super low, but somehow after fighting
I mean,
Tafa,
the
he
dude
ranked
is
up
6'7",
pretty high.
263. I get it.
Exactly.
I've said this multiple times, and we're just waiting. Now I'll
Whatever.
speak highly of him.
Whatever.
I will say his name, Waldo Acosta Cortez. Shout out Dominican Republic. It's one of those things of like in the heavyweight division where like I think you just have to get 1 or 2 wins together that look pretty good, and you're gonna get a title shot. So Waldo Acosta Cortez, we need a title shot for the Dominican Republic.
We
Now,
need
do
it,
you
bro.
think you're gonna beat Tom Aspinall?
Where's he? 11? He's
I'll send you
11.
some Bustelo.
Where's he ranked? 11? Yeah, right.
If you had to guess, you think 11?
11, 10 maybe. I can't remember.
That's what it
I don't
is.
even know if he's ranked.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
not ranked.
11, bro. 11.
Oh, see,
See, he needs 2 wins and he's got it.
that's what I'm saying. He's closer
But it's a
than
division that needs to be cultivated because look what we're saying, right? So that's why Joan Jones can look around and say,
Nah.
without me, what else do you have?
Exactly.
And unfortunately,
True that.
also, I feel like also for John, how do I word this? He's in a bad position also to be at the table to negotiate because also like, let's not sit here and act like all the selling point on this, if you're a casual fan, is on John Jones. You're just seeing John Jones fighting another guy. You have no idea who Tom Aspinall is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Even though he's holding gold, you have no idea who that man is. So it's unfortunate that it's him or nothing.
We need him to fight
So I
fans.
feel like that for the UFC is a pretty big card. Now another thing we've spoken about also has
Exactly.
to be
The
the
UFC
fact
can
that
hold that, like-
we got this weird negotiating thing that the UFC is also doing with like ESPN, Netflix, or they're going to Amazon Prime. I feel like they're holding on to that
streaming
for that
services
as
on.
well.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking if it doesn't happen by November,
It's definitely going to be next year. It's not gonna
You think it's
happen.
next year?
It's not
If
gonna
it's
happen.
next year, I don't think it happens. If it's not,
No.
I'll give you. If it doesn't happen by Q1 of next year, it doesn't happen at all.
It has to be.
That's the-
It's gonna be
that's-
the beginning
I
of next
think
year.
that's
It's
the
like-
latest I'll
If
give
this
it.
deal goes
Exactly.
through, right, and they do the WWE and UFC both bundle, I do think New Year's might be.
It's
that
gonna
might
be-
the
New Year's would be
match.
good.
January or
By the end of the
February.
year.
That would
January,
be the
February
match.
is what we're gonna see Jones.
And to bring it right back, I got Kevin Holland against Vicente Luque. I don't know how we got there. You know what's funny about that? Listen, I love the tangents, and I even have it in my notes. My notes here literally say, "Are we done with this topic talking about John Jones versus Tom Aspinall?" And no, that was like 30 minutes. But yeah, I got Kevin Holland against
Kevin
Vicente
Holland
Luque.
Hopefully we're done now, right?
This is the
No,
bottom of
no,
the list.
no.
I
This is
can,
number
I can
one. We're going up.
almost guarantee
I
we'll
know.
bring it up again in the next.
Sean
You know what it
Shannon.
is? You know what it is? As like, there's a lot of stuff going on in the UFC, like the Ilya Taporia moving up and all that kind of stuff. But like, I would say that this is a story that everybody cares about the most because it's been the one that's been talked about for almost a year now. We're
Yeah.
just like, come on,
What's
figure
gonna
it
happen?
out.
The anticipation is crazy.
It's killing you. It's killing
On
you.
3.
And then
Yeah, for real. No?
I'm worried the fight's
Card
gonna
is
be
coming out.
whack. That's another
I know.
word
People
about it.
may be disappointed because it was the same thing when he fought Gone. Everyone thought that was going to be so much more interesting.
I think
It was over quick. Real quick.
Nah, he took his time at first.
Nah, he
to
did.
at least work
That was
him
a
down.
quick fight.
it'll be-
That was
But
quick.
once that
I don't think it was
got
past
in,
the second. He got kicked in the nuts, and after that, he got him the choke.
he did a couple punches and kicks before.
It wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah, it was nothing crazy, but it was just like, all right, let me
I
just
think it was
warm up
within
into
the
it.
first or second.
You
It was
saw him a
second.
lot
It was
better.
Second round.
Yeah, it was 1 minute in the second round.
You saw him a lot better in the Stipe fight because you actually got to see
Yeah.
him kind of move a little bit more like
Yeah,
how he
true
used
that.
to.
Right, and he was used to the weight more. now.
Exactly. Cyril was more so like, all right, this is first. Let's see how he does, and that was a quick, and we're like, we don't really know.
With
what
his,
to do.
like
with
that's
his
gonna happen
toes
with-
band-aided up. Still got him.
Right.
No, it was the whole thing. Moving on.
John Jones had his toes band-aid up.
He did. He's got
versus Cyril Gane.
that. He got that big toe broken because of Chael Sonnen
They always
undefeated.
breaking their toes.
Yeah,
Just
man,
like
sucks.
Marab.
The
Marab
kicks.
just recently broke his pinky toe.
He did. All right, let's jump. Marab versus Sean O'Malley.
We're here now. Let's jump.
It's called a segue, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Even though we're skipping around the card. Marab did recently post the whole video that he broke his toe. I would not have posted that. I don't know.
Yeah. Why would you post that?
It seemed like it.
I think it's bait.
Like I want to pay.
You think so?
It's bait. I think
So
the
you don't
whole
think it was
idea
his
of it
toe?
How you get your
it was
how you get
so-
your
yeah.
like that?
because
You don't think it was
you have
his
to
toe?
think, right?
It was, but I don't think that big
When he
like-
beat O'Malley's excuse was I was injured.
Yeah,
and that's why you even had a chance and you did all the stuff.
What was
you did.
O'Malley's injury again? I forgot what it was. Because I do remember him saying that he was
It
injured.
wasn't like a knee thing.
He said one of his hands was hurt, I believe, and there was some type of knee or leg issue.
But that's no reason for you
Because he has
backing up like
it's
the way you're
another thing
backing
that
up,
where I
bro.
saw a couple of weeks ago something was coming out with O'Malley's having another problem with his knee again. I don't know if it's the same leg with the Cheeto Vera fight, but I think he's having something similar going on right now.
Him and the Cheeto fight was crazy. It went all rounds. It was very
And that
entertaining.
was a good fight.
It went all
He
round.
beat
O'Malley
the hell out of that boy.
Is very ambitious.
Cheeto was very strong. But
I don't know if I call that strong.
Nah,
man.
he was. He didn't get knocked out. He was strong, but we seen like the skill of O'Malley.
But
Yeah, he
When
had
he
some
versed
hands.
I ain't
Marab,
never seen somebody get whopped like that.
He had a hip injury
Oh, okay.
and
I
a
remember.
torn labrum in his hip. Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
what the fuck is in labor? I haven't seen that.
Something in there. One of the,
I know.
you know what I mean?
So I've torn my labrum in my shoulder.
Oh, damn.
But hip is a
Yeah,
little
what were you
crazy.
doing with your shoulder?
I play football, but
QB? Like how that? Just
nah, I was
tackle?
linebacker and DN. I'm tackling motherfuckers. You know.
Oh,
That's not
okay.
fun.
Violating over here.
For real. But like, but the funny thing is, I tore it playing ball, not playing football.
Yeah.
I got a block on somebody with my left hand, and next thing I felt a little.
You tore it
I was
playing
like,
ball.
what?
I feel you. I messed up my foot playing ball.
So Marab,
Basketball.
I think Sean O'Malley on his rise,
I gotta
right?
ask him just to make sure. It's a sensitive subject right now.
On his rise, I feel like he was too ambitious to even go for the championship to begin with versus Marab after beating.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he should have just tried to fight, get some dubs over, but Marab.
He wasn't ready for it.
He wasn't ready for Marab, and I still
felt like
But that was the mandatory contender.
I know, but like I
was.
don't think he was.
He wasn't practicing.
He took a little jump there.
No, he
Looked
didn't
like he
because he
just
was
left the club.
Skill wise,
he was the literal champion.
Right.
He had
He
to
was the
defend
champ.
against the next
That's
guy
what
else,
I'm saying.
Marab.
Mandatory
He was
contender.
right.
There was
He
literally
didn't
no
get
one
to
else he
choose.
could have picked.
Right.
As
He
much
was
as you could be
champ,
like, no, he is beating everybody.
He
I don't think he was ever as good as Marab or ever had a chance.
Nah,
But that's what-
Or
But
even
that
in
was
this
only
case,
when you're
but-
talking about grappling, though, because he
Even with-
doesn't have a ground game.
Oh,
and that's-
exactly.
That was
Somebody got kicked. Somebody
But
got hands.
this is how you ruin someone's like come up in a way because like you bring in like a Marab,
But it's mixed martial arts.
Here's okay, but
But
it's not. Here's the thing. You're talking about O'Malley like if he was a contender. The motherfucker was the champion holding
I know,
gold.
right.
What do you want to hold him
I know,
back
I
from?
thought he was
Ready,
fine. I thought he was
Ariel?
fine.
He's him. He's the guy.
Yeah.
Everyone else is coming for him. He didn't have
I
a
guess
choice.
I didn't. I
If
thought
anything,
he was climbing.
Who told him not to be prepared?
I'm uneducated.
He just
I'm gonna
wasn't,
do
yeah,
it.
exactly. But he just wasn't prepared. It looked like he left the club. He was like, all right, let's go. Let's fight Marab.
No,
Not
I don't think it that at all. I think he tried his motherfucking hardest.
He did.
Put every
did it,
ounce of
bro.
sweat into that camp.
He was-
and Marab
he
is
was
better.
backing up
Do
the
you
whole
really
time.
think
Marab
Sean?
is
Do you
better,
think
Marab.
Sean O'Malley is that good? That Marab Dvalishvili can't beat him? Marab is significantly a better fighter than Sean. Listen, Sean is
Marab is
good.
beat.
Sean has had his moments.
He looks
Sean's
timid.
Sean's biggest moments have been
Sean is
against
like a
guys
highlight.
that are scared of the
Yeah,
moment.
I
The
get you.
only he gets these
Not
highlight
big.
knockouts. I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying. There are guys that are definitely skill level a lot better than
Marab
Sean.
is
And Marab
more skilled,
is
for
skilled.
sure.
Then I would argue the top 6 in that motherfucker.
Yes,
Like,
he's the
for
most
sure,
skilled
for
fighter
sure.
at that weight
Marab-
class.
Marab is
in
gonna
general.
run,
But I think the thing is, O'Malley, right?
He
Even
can
though
do
he
it.
very much is one linear type fighter, right? You're looking at it.
He's young.
Right.
Yeah.
He's young. 2, the one thing he's really good at, he's better at than everybody else in that division, which is getting knockouts and finding that button.
He got hands,
So
bro.
when you
And
look at
kicks.
even when he fought, Funk, right?
Yep.
He knew what he had to do against a grappler.
And again, I think
and
the
found his
moment,
ways.
that's
But
what I was talking about, the moment getting to some of the people he's fought. Because, and you can't argue, when Aljo walked in to TD, he was nervous.
yeah.
He looked nervous.
I don't agree with that. I don't think Aljo
I
was
don't know.
nervous. I think what Aljo was overrating and underestimating the opponent in front
Exactly.
of him.
I'll say it, I gotta say it was
The
both,
way he
man.
got up before he got knocked out was him saying, I can get this guy again. Instead of realizing this guy can get me. and that's why he got knocked out. It wasn't because of anything else. It was just more he underestimated the guy.
I don't know, man.
But he also admitted right after that, Merab is better than me.
For sure.
And that's when everybody said, really?
Yeah.
And then now we've seen it, right? Because Merab does not get distracted.
We were hearing murmurings of that.
He
Merab
literally
is
works like a machine in his fights because he doesn't get distracted.
But relentless.
That
man.
boy,
focus, bro.
that much pressure and to build your cardio up to do that, that is the difference between Merab and every other fighter in that range. Is he's built for every single round because he is smaller. He's just going to keep coming at you.
Every single time.
And that's what.
But that's what, I mean, I guess to be fair, we haven't seen him like, I don't know, we haven't seen him take like a clean shot from Sean to see whether or not he responds well to him. But I'm telling you, I think he eats it and keeps going.
Yeah.
Let's say
I think he may
like a stone
I'll tell you.
I think he may eat 1 or 2, but I'm telling you, if O'Malley works it to the point
O'Malley
where
gets the 1 or 2,
he goes Cheeto mode on him, right? Where you're looking at it and you're saying, oh, he ate that, right? And he's fine. He ate that. I'm sorry, I do not believe Merab is Cheeto. And he's not gonna eat
That's what
multiple
I'm saying. Like,
of them multiple
O'Malley
rounds.
wasn't the same O'Malley when he was fighting Cheeto.
Yeah, he was.
He was. That's why I say he didn't look prepared. He looked like he left the club.
I think
he
it was the
backing up the whole
injury.
fight, and he was just
He
like
said this time
the whole
around he
fight.
quit smoking weed,
Yeah,
right?
I think it was the
Got
injury.
straight up on social media. We
better
haven't
get back
really
to
heard from
smoking
him.
weed, bro. If weed was working, man, yo,
but
smoke
he-
before
He
you
said
fight,
it
bro.
lost him the fight. So
I think he's
feel that.
gonna
I
because
be focused
because
sometimes.
even
You feel
his
me?
own
It's a hit or
criticism
miss
of
sometimes.
himself was that he didn't train his own cardio up to match where Merab was, right? He said, I started off the fight and I knew what I wanted to do, but between the injury and the fact that my gas tank wasn't built up to keep up with his, I don't need to change my game plan. I just need to keep my gas tank. So that way in the fifth, my arms aren't down. I'm not swinging lazily and he's seeing them, right? Because he did catch him in the 4th and 5th with a few, but at that point, right? The damage
Merab
has
was
already
ready,
been
bro.
done. Merab was like, yeah, you can't do enough to get me out the paint. So if he gets his cardio up and he can say, hey, all 5 rounds, I'm going to be on you like I was on Cheeto, we're going to see a completely different fight. I'm not saying he's going to win.
that's what I'm saying. I don't think that
has a
Merab
chance.
gives him that chance to be letting off those shots. That's what I'm saying. I think Merab, especially after those 4th and 5th rounds, feeling what a tired Sean feels like, I think he understands a fresh Sean might be a little bit different. I think if anything, it's even more pressure now. It's even more ground control.
Definitely more
It is
pressure
holding
now.
that motherfucker down as much as he can, and he cannot get up. It is no
And
oxygen.
Merab goes
I
to
agree.
the attack
I
and
agree
hold
on
it
the
down.
pressure part.
Yeah, he got
But I do think
He got him.
O'Malley is going to train better on the takedown defense.
He better.
Send him
He better
2-3
train with
years
someone.
Dagestan and forget.
Yeah, he better
Send him 2-3 years
He
Dagestan
would be
and
one of
forget.
those dudes if you send out there
Sean
and then
O'Malley
he.
didn't have like that.
You saw how well it worked for Bilal. Honestly, I think a lot of these fighters should.
Everyone.
It should
Hey,
work.
Go
Low-key.
do that 12-month, man.
Low key, that 12-month Coach Khabib program might work for everybody.
Because him training with Adesanya, I don't know.
I know. That's what I
It's not the person to train with.
I think
That's
we're losing.
That's the person to train with right now.
Sean O'Malley,
Multiple
like,
time title defenses.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
Yeah.
I think that is the person. to
That
train.
is the
if
person.
you wanna-
Because guess what?
if you want to
It
stick to
depends
what
on
you're
the
good
fight.
at.
No, because
It
I
depends
think
on the
what you're
fighting
forgetting
style.
is, right, you're talking about one of the guys that has succeeded with that style against a lot of grapplers.
Exactly.
And so that
Time
is the
to
person,
change.
because then you're not changing your game plan, you're just adding to your toolkit and saying, okay, what have you been able to do to stop these guys when they tried that on you? So me and you both have the free and loose fighting styles, right? So we can style bend a little bit more. If all it is for me to realize, okay, work my way to the fence before they push me to the fence, right? Key things you've seen Izzy do, right? He lures people in and make them think you're backing me down. You're not. He's setting you up so that way you're already within range and you don't realize it. He can bounce off that and pow, right? Once he bounces off the fence and he comes at you, you're like, damn, I was gonna shoot.
Yeah.
But he caught me slipping. So I think if O'Malley's like mental gets to the level
I think
where
he needs to be
is-
like on dog mode.
That's what I'm
'Cause
saying.
You can tell even without all the fighting,
Definitely
without a
has
strike
to.
thrown, the Cheeto fight, he looked like a dog.
Oh my
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
the
came
energy,
in.
you can
Yeah,
feel it.
exactly.
This fight versus Merab, he like a little timid dog.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
was like he didn't have that
It's
same
Spaniard.
It wasn't I want to
Yeah.
win. It was I just don't have to lose, and that's the problem. A lot of champions
Yeah, I
have.
get
It's-
that.
They look at it and they say, "Hey, it's your job to prove to the people that you can beat me, and I don't have to prove to them I can beat you." That mentality has defeated a lot of
And
guys.
a little drop for the further episode, and that's why I think DDP beats Hamzat. For
I think
that,
so.
for what you
He's
just
hungry.
said,
He is hungry, but
he's looking for
that
legacy.
grip.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. I
Listen,
think so.
man.
we'll see. We'll
That
see.
grip is just different.
Yeah.
When crushing someone's jaw,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That I had my beliefs, right? And I liked his style. When I saw that, I said, I am convinced.
Yeah, the whole jaw.
The whole jaw.
Jar.
You know how much pressure that takes?
A lot. A lot. It's
against somebody that's used to taking hits too.
That's
a civilian.
I'm intrigued to see.
Yeah, exactly. It's not, no.
I think that the determination is what we're gonna see come out a little bit more. Because we've seen Hamzat now in a longer fight against Gilbert Burns. He was withering away in the later rounds. I think DDP, that's where he's gonna be successful.
If he makes it there. If he makes it there.
Volk was the only one.
Reeling it back in at 316. Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix in his UFC debut.
Oh, I don't believe in none of these new guys Dana's bringing in.
Nah. There's something within them. There's something with them.
I think what's
I get it. They have to prove themselves a bit more.
Better get the Pope.
I think he got
none.
Yeah. There's a new Pope. There's new guys. There's new people.
I'll tell you this. It's a little bit.
I don't be shouting out no Pope.
Right, for the scandal come out.
Honestly,
We have no association.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll tell you this. I agree with you with some of the guys that he's bringing in because I think it's a mixed bag. I think some of the guys he's bringing in is just to put them down to show you, oh, you thought they were top dog over here? Let me show you what top dog is. And he's just putting them to bed.
Yep.
Patricio Pitbull. But I think with Patchy Mix, he's young. He's still up and coming in the sense of like he's a hungry contender, hitting that like 30-ish or so range or so. But like I would still say he's there for title shots. Like I think and then compared to
into his prime
who's
right now,
in
too,
his
right?
weight class, there's a lot of killers in there.
That's why I said that.
But I think he can at least make it to top 5 and do well. I don't know. I'm not saying he's gonna come in here and become titled.
I
and
think
all
he's
that
about to
kind
make
of
this new
stuff,
tab.
I think,
I don't know about that.
he may get 1 or 2 fights,
I think
but I think
so,
as far as doing anything that like wows you, where you look at him career-wise, I don't see that happening with any of these guys.
No.
I do strongly believe Dana is just going at other companies and saying, "Hey, come get your biggest payday over here."
Yeah, for sure.
It'll help me and
Yeah,
you.
you gotta fill that card.
Looking into him, like I said, like I'm a big UFC guy. Every now and then I'll dip into other like organizations, but looking into his record and stuff, he's definitely like a good fighter. But like I said, like I think he's gonna make a good impact. But I wouldn't say, yo, they got this world beater. Like this isn't like, and this is gonna skip ahead, but we'll bring it back. It's not a Kayla Harrison signing. You know what I mean? Where you're getting this shark.
I can't wait to get to that one.
In this little pond of koi fish or whatever, you're getting a shark to go throw in there. That's a completely different vibe. For a lot of the guys that are coming over, I think it's for sure Dana's like, I'm gonna put down your dog in front of you, and then I want you to watch it. Like, and I'm gonna put him up against somebody nobody gives a shit about, and that's how much nobody gives a shit about your organization. Like that's where I'm like, damn, you doing people dirty. But I don't know,
business, bro.
I'm looking at his record, and like Patchy Mix has dude, he's a good fighter, bro. But I don't know, man. The thing is, like you said, the Bellator competition versus a UFC competition, bro, it's just levels. So I don't know how well he's gonna do. I'm intrigued to see. I think Mario Bautista is gonna be an interesting test for him. I think he beats him. Personally, I think Batista's good.
I wouldn't be surprised if he beats him.
I think I'm not gonna say he's gonna dog walk him. I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think it's either or. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt off of what I've seen on his highlight tape and the way he fights. I think he finds the method to victory. Probably a decision, but I think he gets it. And that's a good intro to his first step into the UFC. But I definitely don't see who's the dude's name? Like a Kaya Sakura, let's grab him from another entire organization, give him a title shot off rip. Definitely not. So he's gonna fight again, but he's fighting some whatever down the street because he, you know what I mean? Like
we gotta build him up.
We did the title shot, it did not go the way we thought it was gonna go. Let's bring him back. Yeah, that one they showed him a lot more respect than they did other people because like I guess he wasn't holding gold, but like a Pitbull, you would think that they at least gave him somebody. You win, you get a title shot. So maybe they gave him a little respect that way. But in terms of some of these other guys, I think they're really bringing them over to just kind of put them down and just show them like
It's the UFC.
Yeah, but who knows? At the same time, it's like a cool double-edged sword. It can either bite you in the ass, you just spent money to kill this guy, but it just makes you look cool, or he ends up being really good and now you have a good fight on your roster and you make more money.
It's a win-win, honestly.
It's a win-win. Putting the businessman hat on. You know what I mean?
You gotta take a chance.
But I definitely think that I got Patchy Mix in that one. I think for the fans, I think everybody in the grandmother got Patchy Mix. I don't know how deep you guys are into looking on like MMA, Twitter, and whatnot, but people hate Mario Bautista after that Jose Aldo fight. People hate that dude. Like I'm talking death threats sent to his house for him and his family. People hate that man. Capital H.
Which is why I think he's gonna get it.
Low-key, I
If he sticks to the game
For
plan.
my parlay,
If he sticks to the game plan.
For my parlay, I'm gonna pick him.
Stick to the game plan. All right, now let's move on and we'll get to the good ones. When I say the good ones, I mean the ones that people are mostly going to care about. We got Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. Now this one was supposed to happen, I think, like a month ago,
Sometimes.
like 2 cards ago, or something like that. And Joe Pyfer got like sick. They were in, I think it was Mexico. He got sick. They had to reschedule the fight. He said he
drank the water.
He said he ain't never going to Mexico.
Yeah,
He said some
you don't drink
crazy
the
stuff.
water.
You don't drink the wine. It's just straight beer, tequila.
Yeah, he was
You don't
saying-
drink anything else in Mexico.
That is facts. He was saying that he was never going to go fight ever again in Mexico. He was saying some crazy stuff. This was going to be an interesting one where I think this is going to be this. I guess if you're a casual, this might be a sleeper, but for like people that watch, I think this is going to be a great
Might be fight of the night
You're going to see
potential.
fight of the night. You're going to see somebody get knocked out. You're going to see somebody get pulled out cold. Kelvin Gastelum is a dog.
I was gonna say
He's a
I'm
dog.
going
He's a-
Gastelum on this.
He's a dog too.
He is
It's a
just
tough one.
built like
I would
just
give him
ferociously.
A fridge.
When you look right, and when you look at like his skill set for that body,
Yeah.
you don't expect it, right? Because you're looking at it and you're like, alright, it's either his arms aren't long enough to strike you like you expect, right?
Yeah.
Or you don't expect him to have the skills on the ground and just kind of weigh you down. No, the guy is a mixed martial artist through
sure.
and through.
Yep.
And I think, for Joe Pyfer, he's gonna have to fight round and round to go through. It may make it to the end to a decision, but if it does, it's gonna be a bloody one.
And I think Joe Pyfer's shot right here is going to be that one-shot knockout.
Yeah,
I think
right.
for him, that's what he's going to look for. If he doesn't get that, I think he's going to have a rough night for him. It's going to be 3
Bloody.
rounds of hell,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
I'm telling you, Kelvin Gastelum is a
Pyfer,
shorter fighter, so he's going to get in that pocket.
First two?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
You don't think so? I feel like
If it's decision or knockout within the third, I'll give it to Pyfer. Anything else between that, I'll give it to Kelvin.
I feel like I got this-
Kelvin by decision.
I got mixed feelings on this one, man. Because Joe Pyfer, I've seen him in a couple of fights, and that dude, bro, he's good. Like, he's able to keep people from taking him down for the most part. Takedown defense is all right. I haven't really seen a lot of groundwork from him, so I don't know how he do.
But I think where people are underrating things is forgetting that Gastelum can strike too.
But Kelvin, I'm looking at it right now because I had to pull it up just in case to see how other people are feeling. Gastelum is a plus 310.
Yeah.
You speaking highly. If I were you, I'd throw a couple.
Oh yeah, I am. Don't worry about it.
Plus 310.
Don't worry about it.
Good little bet.
That's a good little
A
bet.
little- a 310 when you something nice. And then Joe Piper's a minus 395. So
Oh yeah, I'm dropping that.
I'd drop a little. You know what I mean, just a little, sprinkle a little on
Something like-
Gastelum.
I throw a little on Pyfer, bro. I'm saying within the
But you
first
gotta,
you ain't
put him
gonna
on
make
KO.
nothing
You gotta put him on KO
Yeah,
round
you
1
gotta
or
put
2
him
if you're
on
gonna make
KO.
anything.
That's exactly.
What are some of the other odds on the?
Some of the other odds that I'm seeing, and this is me checking on ESPN. I gotta check like all the other ones. We're not sponsored anyway, so I'm not gonna say any of the other names until we're sponsored. We got plus 180 on Vicente Luque versus the minus 218 Kelvin Holland. They don't have any odds on Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix.
okay, so
Again, according to ESPN.
Right.
We got Kelvin Gastelum with a plus 310 versus a minus 395 Joe Pyfer. Oh God. We got a Juliana Pena at a plus 455 minus against a Kayla Harrison at a minus 625. That's ram to a slaughter. And then we got Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. Merab is sitting at a pretty minus 325 versus a Sean a plus 260. So we're seeing already how people are kind of betting on this. I would say the Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix is going to be a pick'em because not a lot of people. If you didn't watch Bellator, you don't know who Patchy is.
Yeah.
But man, that
I watched the whole. I watched the whole thing on Patchy. I think.
see you're bringing up some.
man on that. You know what I'm saying?
Patchy's
A
nice,
lot of
man.
these underdogs seem to me like they could,
Pick up a nice little parlay, throw a little 3-leg
Right?
parlay.
Is that Johnny Walker still fighting out here?
Johnny Walker got his ass on the prelim. We don't know.
I just thought it was funny to see him. They were like, oh, snap.
You
Used to linger around. It's funny the fighters that linger around, kind of like.
I was listening to a
Johnny is on the early.
he the bigger Tony Ferguson, man.
For sure. I was listening. It was funny you bring that up. I was listening to a clip the other day that it was like people doing like they were doing like interviews and whatnot, and they were just like going over like multiple MMA personalities talking about like Johnny Walker back when he was Johnny Walker. You know what I mean? They're like, "Yo, this is the guy to give John Jones the problem. This is the dude to end the streak. This is the guy."
No.
Yo, he was the blue Johnny Walker. Now he's like the red.
Yeah. He definitely got named after that.
It's still Johnny Walker, but
Oh, you know for sure.
he ain't blue label now.
Yeah, he's that.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
That red
It's still
label?
Johnny Walker. Yeah, he's that red label.
Red stripe.
He did the worm blow out the
Not
shoulder.
even the
from
black
there.
label. It's at that red label now.
label.
I feel like I got so
Early.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Red label's early.
Sponsor
prelims. Black label prelims. Blue label.
So that he's black though because he's still in the prelims.
No, he's early prelims.
No, he hadn't made no. What I'm looking at right now, he hasn't made it to the early prelims. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
He'll get
I don't
Close.
know.
It's 2 fights
This
away.
just
Right.
in, it shows me early prelims for Johnny Walker,
Aldo
bro.
Costa Cortez.
Okay.
Early prelims has Johnny on there.
Damn, they got. I don't know. We gotta look this up. Google versus ESPN got it. Their wires crossed. I'm looking at
I
the.
trust Google.
I'm looking at the UFC website, and they got him on the prelims.
I don't know.
Maybe they swapped it.
Google is on point too.
Yeah,
bro.
Google tends to be pretty clear because it lets me know when the fighters get canceled early. So.
That is
Just
true.
Google AI. he red label right now.
Yeah, he ran.
Red Label Walker over here.
You about to summon Jarvis on you.
Yeah.
Damn, that's so bad. Johnny Walker, what happened to you, man?
I don't know.
It's still a big bottle. You can
Some
still get
guys
lit.
don't polish their scales.
Nobody
man.
cares about no
Good
light
time,
heavyweight.
man. Stop watching a fight.
20 down ball does the job.
Oh, that's the job. That's the best way to put it.
See, let's
Just
see.
the job is the best way to put
That could be
it.
a good fight.
over
That
here.
could be a good fight.
Shout out Buffalo Beach, Barcelona.
All right, and then
order a
you
double.
said it'd be a good fight, right? So then that would be Johnny Walker versus.
Azamat Murzakanov.
He did it well. I ain't gonna hold you. You did that well. No shot for you, bro. No shot for you.
I never get it right.
Better than me.
I saw this bald-headed Russian man, and I thought it was over for Ariel.
You know what?
I thought it was over off that name.
Just go get after him. You can't think about
Right,
it.
right. If you think about the pronunciation, you're gonna stutter.
Yeah.
So just say it how you think it sounds.
Dog, that's so
You
funny.
gotta quickly.
Announcer life.
I thought you were about to just butcher that.
I'm so
Shout out to you,
surprised I
man.
got that. Hell yeah.
And shout out to
BMF.
this contender.
BMF,
Next.
I hate
All right.
Yeah, guys.
I could definitely
Ball guy.
pronounce better.
All right, so before we move on to real quick, so I'm gonna go with Joe Pfeiffer. I'm gonna go with Pfeiffer on this
I'm
one.
gonna go Piper in the
Gas
first
one.
or second
I'm
round.
gonna go Pfeiffer.
All right, we'll see. Who knows? Listen,
I'm sorry. I said Piper in third round. First or second round, then yeah.
build the parlay. Based off of, listen, I'll say this. Based off of the previous
Parlay
episodes of this
builder.
podcast, every time that we have unanimously said that someone's gonna win and one other person opposed, the other person won. Melvin Leon Edwards. Kamaru Usman.
Yeah,
Only
I
one to
had-
be
I
like,
had
I
Edwards
think
on
I
that
got
one,
him. I think I got him.
Yeah.
Fucking Christ. Anyway, moving on now. Like I said, with those odds, this is, I don't know how I feel about this one, man. I feel like this one's just rude. I feel like this is disturbing. If anything, just strip the title and give it to the other girl. We got Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison, the fight that everyone's been waiting for.
Harrison
Just to
is-
see Juliana Pena get murdered.
Yeah, I was gonna say Harrison got it.
Before we proceed, I need a 3 drug test for Kayla.
Right. I was
You know what I'm saying?
gonna say, I think a lot of people are hyping like
Could've got her
size
fifth
and
drug
mass
test.
for like skill, right? And I think one thing that Juliana has shown us from her fights against the Lioness, she can take
A
damage
little more up in
and
here.
keep fighting. So I think
Where was
depending
the
on how the fight goes, if it's not done in 1 or 2, y'all may start looking at Kayla Harrison looking out there like Brock Lesnar. I don't know what to do to get this bitch out of here.
So that's the part that I'm interested to see because she has to cut down so much weight. This is 5 rounds, bro. We've seen her now against Holly Holm. She does well. But that was like what 2-3 that she got her out in. I don't know, but at the same time, it's a tough 2-3 that she got to get through against.
That's why.
Juliana Pena might get fucked up.
Oh, she listen.
And
This
then
is
now-
another
now that we
potential
see-
fight of the night.
now that we see the
at least
elbows
first
coming
3
away.
rounds, at least first 3 rounds might be fight of the night. But like I said, Juliana has shown you she can take the pain.
She can.
She can take the pain, and for what she wants to have that fight with bringing the Lioness back out of retirement, I think she's gonna go through the pain. We might see her walk through that fire with cuts and
These
bruises
girls,
and
yo, these
bleeds.
girls be fucking bruising
I
up.
think- I think-
Yo, they be getting lumped
You
up.
talking about that Joanna the Judge chick?
The extra eyebrow.
That was a wild.
Hematoma. I learned that word that day.
She looked like
She turned to
I
an
said,
alien.
I thought it was just a lump. All I kept hearing
No,
was
but it's
multiple hematomas. I said, hematoma. Okay.
What the fuck?
What
I feel like it's all of them though. I feel like everyone that gets
When you,
lumped.
to be fair, when you watch them fight, it's like it's 15 to 25 minutes of just rapid fire punches, bro. They're like you don't get knockouts, so it's just consistent beating of the
On the
head.
same spot.
It's bad.
And the guys don't get lumped up like this.
No, that post fight when they raise the hand and you just see the one eye is closed and they're looking real small, and the other one their lip is busted up. It's bad.
Because most of the guys' fights, it's you got somebody split pretty early on.
Early,
but
yeah.
then the girls, it's like their knuckles aren't.
You're like
Their blood, they got their blood, the lack of the the low iron. You know what I'm saying? Periods.
It's like, no wonder my shirt be wrinkled.
Hemoglobin.
A couple of fights ago,
Low
when,
eye.
Jelaine Robertson, the girl that was like with the dyed red hair, that when she won, she posted a fight, like a post-fight picture. It was her like smoking a blunt, but you saw her, all her hands were like fucked up, her arms were all bruised up, her legs. You're like, bro, you didn't go to war. Like, you didn't really do a whole lot. You still got beat up. What happened? But she won.
Yo, girls be bruising up. Bruising up.
But
That's why you gotta watch out.
They run into a little, they run into the locker, arm bruised.
Yeah, real quick.
I think Juliana
Well,
Pena's got
it wasn't
definitely
me.
a big task. What do you guys think, though? Do you think like Juliana's really gonna come into this task like focused and ready to take on a beast like that? I think Amanda Nunes, she caught her slipping because we saw she was sick. She came into this fight camp. A lot of
I
things.
still think
She's
she
having
has
her
a
kid.
chance
All this kind of
early.
stuff.
After the first round.
Ain't nobody finishing anybody early unless it's Kayla Harrison via elbows in round one.
I'm going with Harrison.
I don't
but
think she has knockout power. Neither does
She
Juliana
doesn't.
Pena.
She doesn't.
I don't think that
the
Juliana
only
gets her
way
in
is
this.
if Harrison gets caught
Don't
slipping.
happen.
If she don't get caught slipping early,
That's
I'm
just
going with
Brock
Harrison.
But that's what I'm saying. Dude, I think with this fight, there is no getting caught. Getting caught early. Nobody hits that hard to get caught that early.
Yeah,
it is either
just get caught
it is
something
either
or not.
judo flip, elbow to death, or I'm seeing third, fourth, maybe even fifth round, the tired, slippery, and Juliana gets the rear naked.
They should have loved that Jude.
One or the other.
These
If we're
girls
talking,
started like,
Listen,
if we're
I
just
ain't
talking
gonna
by
lie.
a finish.
Even in a street fight, that judo, one little hip toss, get your ass to the
Son,
concrete.
son, every now and then, my girl will send me like a video, and then she's like, "We should do this," and it's always like a couple, like they're like play wrestling, and I'm like, "No," and then I'll send her a clip, and I'm like, "This is how it would go," and I just send her like judo videos, and you just see that one, just, you're like, that's how it would go. There's no middle
Why it's so
ground.
rough?
All right.
I sent her videos where it's just so funny because it'll be like couples always doing like couple challenges, and it's just me over there just sending like fight videos. I'm like, "This is cool, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever you're watching." I don't know.
Tap out.
She's supportive, so shout out.
Shout out to the good women out there.
Yeah.
But for real though, with these bad bitches that about to go at
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
all I'm gonna say is this for sure. I think if Kayla Harrison can be dominant from the start, right, to not let Juliana have a mixed martial arts fight, I think that's what she wants. If she can get her to just trade strikes, right, make certain mistakes, I think she can get her out of there, like you said, right? Get her to the ground with the judo, and maybe just blows and overwhelm her with
she's gonna
strength.
overpower her.
That's what I was gonna say. Just overwhelm her with strength. Then she can probably take it away. If it becomes a mixed martial art fight, or she tries to prove herself as a mixed martial artist, I think Juliana is gonna power through whatever pain she needs to, and whether she eventually lets her think she's taking her down and then uses her BJJ skills to get her, I think that could very much be the ending
could
of the
be.
fight.
I
It's,
got it.
hey, I'll let you flip me down, but once you get down there with me, I know how to do more things down here than you do.
I got two things for that. One, I agree, like I said, with the whole strength thing, I think she's just gonna overpower her. I think that as much as Juliana has that dog in her, I just don't think that this is a fight that she's gonna win. I don't see a path to victory. Like, I'm trying to imagine it in my head.
I
like,
There's no clear path, I'll say that.
even by decision, like I still see. Let's say it's by decision. Let's say when
I
we get
hate
to
these
when we get
refs
to the
and
decision.
these judges, man. I
don't
hate
think-
I feel
UFC
like-
judges
I feel
more
like
than
they-
anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hear me, Dana? I hate your judges.
Yeah, Dana's like,
UFC judges or like
I do too.
UFC, let's rank them. UFC
not the answer I
judges.
want, Dana.
UFC judges
Fire.
versus like NBA and NFL refs.
UFC.
NBA though, I've lost more parlays on NBA.
You know the thing is, I
You know why? Because UFC judges actually decide the fight.
No,
Right? Decide who wins.
that's-
there's
An
a lot of
NBA
weight.
ref
Three of
can
them.
get you a call, but they can't get you to win.
yeah, they can manipulate the game, but
Right.
they can't really like.
You know, a
Literally
free throw is
give
a
you the
win,
dub.
bro.
Yeah.
Get 2 free throws.
Yeah.
Who's winning?
I've seen people. Grant Williams. I'll make both. Right?
Gotcha.
So the refs can't do that for you. But
can try their best.
you can beat somebody's ass, and the UFC judge will be like, "That's not what I saw.
Yeah.
She's leaking. That's not what I saw.
Yeah. What do you
It
want?
looked like she was assaulting your hand with her head.
yeah.
What are we
What
doing?
I saw.
How did you get?
Hey man.
Somebody leaked the picture in the name of these refs.
You gotta start doing that. I guess.
Yeah, oh,
Most
God.
of these guys, let them do an interview afterwards. They gotta figure it out. They
Speak
gotta
up. I want to hear your opinion on this.
Yeah, exactly.
something.
Why are you
Other
just
than
like
just
a
the number.
unanimous, like fucking?
Yeah,
It's my
we'll
vote.
open a number.
Disappear. Like,
Right.
And the second thing that I was gonna say, this is my biased opinion. This is me just speaking out of a fan that I want what I want to see. I need her to walk through, get into that octagon. I need Kayla to judo flip this shorty, kill her in 2 rounds, and I need her to get on that mic, call Amanda Nunes the fuck out. And I need to see that
For the
fight.
culture.
Because I just looked at the rankings. Ain't shit on here that I want to see. Ain't shit on here. I just look at this and I got disappointed, man.
You know what?
Hold on. I'm going to ask you and you, because I guarantee you don't know half of these fucking names. Raquel Pennington.
I know.
Caitlin Vieira. Norma Dumont. You know Macy Chasson. Irene Aldana.
I don't know.
Yes.
You didn't know.
I don't do
Both of you just looked at me. I know you're picking up a little bit more. These two motherfuckers just look at me like,
The first two.
I remember Dumont.
You know that?
The last one
You know Irene Aldana.
Like, with some butter.
She was
The Brazilian?
no, Irene Aldana, you remember Noche UFC? She's the one that got that insane cut. Like the crazy cut.
down her face.
Down her face. Where it was like, oh, yeah, that one.
God.
So, in my opinion, this is another heavyweight situation. Kayla Harrison's going to come in, get this one. Big super fight is looming in the corner. Maybe Amanda comes back.
her.
Hopefully she Jones her. Hopefully she Jones
Let's do it.
But then the rest of the fights that we're going to get after that.
That's what happens, though.
I ain't got another kid.
Yeah, exactly. She might be pregnant again. Yo, so
Couldn't get a sitter.
Yeah, right. A fan told me this. They were like, to make like women's like UFC more interesting.
You gonna say some ignorant shit? I know it. I know.
Melvin, just get ready to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're gonna clip this part.
Write it down.
There's a lot of documentaries going on around this topic, but it was saying add baby oil. I was like,
See?
you ain't right for that, but you ain't wrong for that.
Sponsors, man.
You ain't right, but you ain't wrong.
Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah.
I think Juliana Pena
Sponsors.
It's not a
needs to really get
It is not, but someone's getting knocked out.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
Wait a minute.
Yo.
Wait a minute.
Kayla Harrison.
I am a boy.
It's just like
You are not in jail anymore.
He's like, stop. You're gonna ruin my name.
Kayla Harrison.
Yo, shout out to Friday, bro.
Goddamn good.
Hurry up for the past 5 minutes. Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harris. Kayla Harris.
It's a goddamn dude.
She might slip her way into the competition.
Listen,
She winning.
all it is with Kayla Harrison, honestly, I don't think that it's roids or anything like that. Looking into
It's a
her.
very high level to.
Here's what
I'm
gonna give you
Study
two.
that.
One, she's been training since she was a little girl, and that's one of the reasons she is the way that she is right now in the sport that she's been training in. Two, have you seen Brock Lesnar's daughter?
Yes, I was about to just. Yo, you stole that.
Yo,
from
but
my
that
mouth.
Shit, brickhouse of a woman got
And that's a
this
a
daughter
young
was
woman.
created-
Imagine when she an adult.
two.
This daughter was created with genetics that was on steroids at the time.
You're
You got a second-hand
genetic
steroid,
tree
bro.
worked its way down.
Second-hand steroids.
Yeah, right.
Steroid eugenics.
What happens when a crackhead has a baby?
It can happen to a crackhead. It can happen to you.
He's immune to crack.
This is an interesting
You better
point
not
right
bring your kids.
So we gotta test Brock Lesnar's daughter now.
Before we
Just to
continue on
make-
anything else in this
Oh
podcast,
my
DNA
God.
test.
Hey man,
we
whatever.
continue on this
NCAA, don't come for me.
before we continue, disclaimer.
Right.
Anyway, just I mean,
And if you can't read it, come to the show.
uneducated.
Yeah, uneducated. We get it.
But no, I think for her, bro. I listen. I understand all the worries and everything like that. I think it's just when you look at all the other shorties, you're like, I don't know what's going on there. You know what I mean? She looked built completely different than all the other ones, and like,
Come on, let's keep it
And of
fair.
all the sports, she is doing shot put.
yeah,
You understand?
yeah.
Yeah.
She, I mean, to be fair,
She
like
plays
built like
rugby.
that, like
She about
that's
to
what you
be
gotta do.
the
But that's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
gotta think like she could have chosen a bunch of other things, and she's doing a sport that's primarily dominated upper body power.
She was doing that for an hour. Yeah, just wait. She was about to join the slap
We're gonna
contest.
randomly get Brock Lesnar's daughter as a guest on here just to talk about shot put. We're gonna have an episode that's nothing to do with MMA.
Yeah.
And then at the end of
Because I'm
your dad's a fighter, and then we're gonna cut the episode.
I watch the Olympics every year, and I'm like, I think I could do that, man. You put the thing by your neck. How many
As
the
someone-
spinning? If I could get that,
As someone who has done shot put for 4 years in high school, it is a lot harder than you think. I'd like to give a shout out to Jared Lofwoods because that is a
Yo.
scary man that could throw that metal ball very far.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you not get dizzy? How
But that's what I'm saying.
It's just
You got
It's
to lock
technique. That's why I'm like,
You know what's crazy?
Is it
The
4
one,
or 5
the one
spins?
that I think for me was a more disorienting. I tried to learn how to do discus. And
Oh
that's-
my God.
That one is a lot more spinning.
Yeah.
Way more
Wait,
spinning.
what is that? Isn't it
Discus
like
is a
frisbee
it's
golf?
like
What
a
is that?
metal disc, like a heavier disc that you hold and you're spinning and you just yeet that thing.
Yeah.
I'd say
Those
that
two-
in
those-
the chain ball thing, the
those
hammer
two-
throw. I think those ones were probably.
I'm
That's
sure
what
I
you
could
mean
probably
about
figure
the
out.
chamber one.
Discus, maybe.
Discus is
Shot
finesse.
put, I feel like is way harder because
Those-
of the
those are
position
outdated-
that
those
you're
are
holding.
outdated.
And it's a heat, right?
That's
the heat is what I think makes it harder.
Those are
If
from
I
like
have to work on my
83.
spinning or throwing,
I wanna throw a
I can
spear.
figure
I'd
out
rather
cutting
throw
out
a
my
spear.
left hand, my right hand,
Yeah.
is still good. You know what I mean? Because like even with football, like
Hey, what are you gonna
I was
use
playing
that?
defense and I could still throw like 60 yards from the end zone with like good accuracy. And that's most defenders can't do that. So I was like, listen, you get me to work a summer, I might be able to come out there with it.
Idea. Ding. Idea. 806 Olympics. They got the track and field. We'll figure it out.
I'm with
806 Olympics. We'll say it.
Nigga, we busy, bro.
Dude, we busy? Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison to wrap this one up. I'm so sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
let's get it, let's get it.
This one has been all over the place, but it's been a great episode. I'm having so
Yeah,
much fun. I don't know about
lots
you
of
guys.
fun.
This is a
Yeah,
lot.
this is
I'm having a good time. Juliana Pena, I just think, I really personally just don't see a method of victory for her. I agree with you. If you bring in the MMA, if you really work it all out, there's a chance.
a
But we
big
cannot forget that Kayla Harrison
Leg kicks.
has been in other organizations
She is
that are
scary,
MMA
bro.
organizations, and she has dominated.
She is
Also, I mean, granted, again, the same idea, level of competition
Right.
isn't
You're
really
right.
necessarily there, but she's at least seen the things that the girls are throwing at her, and she's trained. And I'm not going to sit here and listen. Here's where I'll differ, and I've spoken about this, and I feel every time I'm like, the level of competition when it comes to women's MMA, there's like a handful at the top, space everybody else. I would argue that same level of competition you'd grab from a PFL, a Bellator, or one championship, and brought it over to UFC could actually compete with the women that are in the UFC, minus the creme de la creme, that's the very top 4 or 5. Other than that, I would say they're all fairly similar. So for the most part, I don't think that she's going to see anything from Juliana Pena that she hasn't seen before, that she can't just stop with a judo hip, throw, and elbow to the
think-
face.
And I think the reason that I want to see it go this way, because I am with you, I do want to see Lioness come back and fight her.
Yeah.
I think that would still be a good fight to have.
That's the fight to make.
But the one reason I do want to see Juliana do it is because this was the same stuff I heard when Ronda Rousey was on her run. You have these fighters that are very good and dominating, and they make everybody else scared, right?
Yep.
And that's where I feel like Kayla Harrison's benefit has been. She has that intimidation factor based on size and strength. But you're also talking about somebody that has multiple times faced the greatest women's fighter ever,
Yeah.
right? And has actually beaten her. Not through like a decision or something,
That is
through
true.
actually fighting and enduring it.
We're gonna throw the caveat on her on a shitty training camp, also coming off of a very big sickness. You
So
got
there's a lot of things you can throw on either side.
Because here's what I'll say with this: you just got to give that caveat because you got to put it in context. Because let's not act
no,
like
he's
then
got
afterwards,
one.
when they fought
Exactly.
again, that Juliana didn't get absolutely dog walked by Amanda
Again,
Nunes.
this is my point. We're talking about the greatest, right? And that's why I said
But
the
there's
greatest.
a
You're right,
difference between like.
But those are like it'd be different if she was
got
able to
fucking
catch her in the
wiped,
first
bro.
one, and then in the second one it was a close fight and she lost.
She got
It's different
wiped.
that she caught her, and then in the second fight it was a complete. You're like, yo, Juliana, what
No,
happened?
but I think again the point I say is right. She fought her in the first one, and then people get comfortable thinking I could do this again and I could do this easier because now I know what's coming. You don't know what's coming. When you're fighting the greatest fighters in MMA, you don't know what's coming. Each fight is going to be different than the last one because they're going to look at what they did that fight and adapt immediately. They're not like other fighters. The best fighters we've seen in the UFC are people that can adapt. Like
Consistently
this.
learning.
Right? Because they're saying, hey, I can fight this guy and know what style that I'm facing. If it's a grappler, I can fight this guy and know it. That's why John Jones has been the best, because he always knows, hey, depending on who I'm fighting, it doesn't matter what style you bring in, I can make it a fight. Other guys, you see very much, hey, if you're fighting a grappler, you can win, but if you're fighting a striker, you're gonna lose. If you're fighting a striker, you can win, but if it's a grappler, you're gonna lose, right? It's the margin of skill drops significantly for most other fighters in between. When you look at Amanda Nunes, there's nothing she can't do in that ring that she wants to do.
How long has it been since she fought?
Who?
Amanda
Nunes?
Nunes at this point.
Nunes is
2 years?
Yeah.
2 years.
About 2 years.
Do you think that
Until-
affects
her fighting, let's say Kayla Harrison wins.
1,000%.
Yes.
Easy.
On the roll, like Kayla's going.
It just depends
it's like
on
a
how
snowball
much she's
effect.
training.
1,000%. It's the ring rust. It's the ring rust thing.
Ring rust has a thing to do with it. Once you've already been in the ring for so long, I wouldn't throw ring rust in it. It depends on training. Ring rust, yes.
Has she been training this whole time, or
No.
Exactly.
She's had like 6
Connor is the
kids.
perfect example of it. Connor is somebody who's been fighting since he was a young kid, and he went a good period without fighting, came back and got
how
dog
long was he?
But he
training?
also
But he
is
gets
dirty.
beat by grapplers. I don't
True.
know. Connor
Yeah,
never
how
gets
long
feeling
was he
like.
But at the same time, like, let's not.
Because ring rust,
Definitely, I don't think Amanda's the type of person.
Ring
to
rust
do
is
it.
an early.
No. But I'm just saying I agree in general where we're saying that ring rust is gonna play no matter who you
Yeah.
are. You could be the best fighter. You take time off, you come back, you're not going to look like
Does
yourself.
Jones have ring rust?
Yes, he had
Yeah.
ring rust the first time he fought.
That first
Yeah,
fight
he-
against Cyril, if you
Yes,
look
Cyril,
at that
that-
versus John Jones's last fight at light heavyweight,
Oh my gosh.
excluding
That also
the
was
weight,
the first time in the heavyweight.
completely
That's
different.
what I'm
No, but
saying.
like
That's what I'm saying.
movement, the
But
style
training.
of fighting, all of it very different. He was timid. He was
Right.
kind of like just. You saw him.
The body's
physically
not calloused
feeling
as much
everything out.
anymore,
Yeah.
right? You're not used to getting hit as much. You've taken so much time off.
That's where training
and that's
comes
why,
in.
but
Because
that's-
you're not taking time off
Well,
if you're training.
here's the thing though. It depends on what you're talking about training, because you also have guys like Max Holloway who's like, I'm not sparring him.
I'm Max Holloway.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sparring.
I'm Max Holloway. When I train or I do anything, I'm not training for you to hit me.
No, sparring is important.
Be-
You
because-
need your body to get.
Yeah, you can
You're
spar,
gonna-
but
You need to be able to react in
Exactly.
situational.
Yeah, sparring is important.
It's very important, I think.
And I think the problem that people forget is also sparring is not the same as fighting,
It's not.
right? Because you're holding back,
But
they're
it-
holding
but
back.
again, it's
reaction to, like,
especially
movements,
but it's
but-
reaction.
when you get to that level, also is what we're talking about, right? We're not talking about just coming back in and they're gonna throw her in with an up and cover. No, you're going in where you left off.
Yeah.
That's a different thing, right?
That is different.
It doesn't matter who you are, because
You
it
don't do
happens.
tune-ups.
Whether it's I
years
know
off
I'll take breaks from the gym and I go back in trying to pick up where I left off. You would think, because I've been doing it for years. My
Connor
body
was the only one that got the tune-up fight, and that was him against
Cowboy?
Cowboy Cerrone.
Yep.
That was the only.
I like that.
tune-up.
That was one of my. I
was a
fucked
good
with
fight.
Connor.
That was crazy.
All right,
man.
all right, we'll push it up a little bit.
One of the best entertainers,
my
man.
nigga.
One of the best.
Listen, I do
entertainers.
fucks with
Without him, a lot of the stuff we have now wouldn't be as entertaining.
Connor was definitely
Shout out.
one of the faces still of UFC.
Almost got you proper 12.
I
He
just wanna-
sold the company, so it's not the same anymore.
I just want to say a shout out to Conor McGregor's Greenback Records for releasing the first album
yeah, well,
under the
record.
label by Exhibit.
Yeah.
Shout
I
out.
did listen to that exhibit album.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't get to check
Pretty
it out.
good. I
is it?
listened to it.
There's a few songs on there that are good. I don't know if I really
Just a
cared
thumbs
much
up or
of-
thumbs down. What would you listen to it again? Well,
Probably
that's
not.
enough. That's enough.
But I think it's just more so
Greenback Records.
at that age, certain things don't sound the same, right? When you're rapping about them, and your tone doesn't sound
I
as
just think it's
convincing.
Also,
crazy
the content
that-
hasn't matured.
Not as much as you
Right.
think.
Like a lot of people got
And then
Bluetooth.
when he does
Rich
do
for-
the mature songs, it don't sound smooth.
A lot of people got Bluetooth.
But there's some good features on
I need
there.
Exhibit to be rapping about like mortgage loans and stuff like that. Like,
He's not
He
rich
should have been doing a Pimp My Ride, goddamn.
He been
rap
rich for like
series.
20 years. Like, what do you like?
He should have been the currency of goddamn cars by now. All
I do
about
not need
the
a,
ride.
I do not need a
every
fish tank in
tape.
my car.
You know what's funny? I saw an interview with him. He was like, I had nothing to do with those cars.
Nothing.
He's like, I was the host.
Yeah,
I
he was
had
the
no
host.
idea what they were doing with the cars.
You know
They
how many
tell
of
me-
those cars got repoed, bro?
So many. Dude, they put fish tanks and ovens in cars, bro. You couldn't drive that.
Yeah, like, what do you like? Yeah, we're gonna put that shit in the rims. And,
Oh, you like
They
blue?
never
Yeah.
fixed the car.
Yeah.
You'd have bad brakes going in and coming out, but you'd have a fish tank.
And then it's like, yeah, this wasn't free. We're gonna charge you for this. Oh, you can't afford that? Yeah, it's
Pimp My
our-
Ride was a scam.
It's our car.
Pimp My Ride was definitely scary.
We already talked about it a little bit, but let's just end this beautiful card with, of course, the main event of the evening.
Yes, sir.
Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. Now, this is Merab defending his title against Sean O'Malley, who he recently took the title from. This will be his first title defense. Like I said earlier, man, I don't think Sean has anything for him.
Okay? It's gonna be skill versus will.
I think
Skill versus will. If Sean O'Malley can
be really-
figure out
if he really wants
how to
that
get
bad.
his cardio up to actually fight to the level that he can for 5 rounds,
You gotta be a dog.
I think it's gonna be very different if he shows up like he showed against Cheeto.
When I get out here, I'm gonna rewatch that first fight because like you're bringing up this cardio factor a lot, and I really want to see, man.
Yo,
Is it really the
with him and Cheeto, he did really well, bro.
He did really well.
Marab has another like gear that's just like
he did not
beyond O'Malley.
O'Malley didn't look like himself when he fought Marab, bro.
He wilted.
His like
His
even
demeanor, everything was off.
everything.
Yeah.
Exactly, his demeanor was off. His, like,
Even in between, when you're watching him go sit to, on the bench,
He was off, bro.
he did not.
wasn't-
look
it's the same
guy.
energy I felt when Adesanya was about to lose
I gotta-
the
alright.
first time against.
I'm gonna watch Cheeto and then I'm gonna watch that one.
There you go.
And then we'll see how we're feeling because I feel like, listen, there is something to do with the energy a fighter comes in with, the will, like you said, like there is something that comes in with that energy you bring into, like I'm ready to, like when you get that I love this clip every single time where it's like you see Izzy on the camera and he's I'm willing to die.
Yeah.
Like he's like I'm willing to die right now.
You gotta believe that.
That's something else versus like I'm here today. I
Yeah.
clocked in.
yeah.
Those are two very different vibes.
Because I can always tell, especially in between fights, when one fighter is saying, hey, I'm ready to die, right? I'm ready to do whatever. I'm going all in. And the other fighter is looking at their corner and they're saying, what can I do?
Yeah.
Once I start hearing that, I know where the fight is heading, right?
Yeah.
Because
When the one guy
more
sits
likely
down
than
and the
not-
other one's standing, like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. And even then, both of you can be saying, it's when you're doubting your skill set.
Exactly.
I don't believe in you anymore in the fight because that's just how all fights are won, right? Like we've all been in fights before growing up, and you know sometimes you got popped.
Yeah.
But you're like, nah, dog, this ain't it, right? Like when you believe that,
I got that.
right? Right. Compared to like, you know, if you ain't won every fight, you do know like there was a point where it happened and you're like, yo, what else can I do?
Yeah.
Or like I need to make sure I get out of this without
That
the least
Superman
damage
punch
to
on him.
like F it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you working around now compared to before where you're like, F it, I'm gonna eat one just to make sure I smoke.
And I would say with this one, with Sean going in, he's literally has nothing to lose. He doesn't even have the belt anymore.
And that's why I think you may
He got
see
nothing to
him
lose.
walking with the same energy against Cheeto where it was.
Yeah.
Everybody said you can't do nothing to Cheeto. He felt so much like an
He's
underdog.
like, all
he
right,
came in
man,
like,
watch
"Ah."
this. Watch this.
I think O'Malley needs to be an underdog.
He needs it.
Exactly.
He needs it. He
Like,
needs
that type of
to
energy. I don't think he can
He's gonna come
Yeah.
defend a lot of belts.
Yeah.
I think he can win a lot of belts.
I think honestly for me, it's just literally whatever Drake's gonna bet, and then I'm gonna price it. Whatever Drake's bets, I'm gonna bet the opposite. So,
That's a good
Aubrey.
method.
hopefully he bets Marab because
Honestly,
I feel like Marab,
I'm so tired of
gonna get
Marab,
it.
man. As much as I do like that, I respect how good he is. Like I just want someone to just beat him and get him out of there.
I think O'Malley can do it, man, but early. If Marab is
I
still
say
there,
third round.
if Marab is still there,
Third or fourth, I think. If O'Malley's gonna get it, it's gonna be
Fifth
third
round.
or
If it
fourth.
gets to like
Marab
fourth,
can get it.
fifth, Marab is about to fight.
I feel that way. I feel like-
No, if it gets to fifth, I don't believe.
Yeah, I feel
unless
like
it's a
Marab can get it.
miracle.
Unless he catches him with
Unless
that
it's
one.
right. Unless it's a miracle, if it gets to fifth, I don't see him doing
If
it.
Marab
I
can
think
tackle
end
him
of
early
third
and
or
do a
beginning of
submission
fourth,
early?
O'Malley can come right off. Whatever he locks in, and you may see a Marab shoots in. He defends it. They get up, punch. Marab thinks he eats it, and then that second one follows through, and your body says, "Doo-doo."
I would love to see it happen, but I see honestly this fight either way going to decision, but I think it leads more towards Marab.
Yeah, no, it is.
I think
Decision is definitely Marab.
I'm gonna sit here and look at you in the face and tell you, Sean will get those shots. I think Marab beats him.
if he goes to decision,
I don't think he gets as many as
To
he
the
would
fifth?
like off.
Yes.
And I think it's just gonna be like. Here's my thing. I totally understand the whole part of cardio. This is why I said I'm gonna go watch the fights. I'm gonna rewatch them and see. This is the part where I get with the cardio aspect. Great, your cardio is up. Fantastic.
Like, what do you
There's
do with
still
it,
70 takedowns coming your way, bud.
yeah, so
Defend 5, defend 10, defend 20. But there's still, he doesn't stop.
Question number two I have for you.
Relentless for
Alright,
sure.
That's
Do you
why the
believe that
knees, bro. He gotta
Marab
use the
is a
knees.
what I was
submission
thinking.
specialist?
No, but that's why I said decision. That's why decision.
That's where I say
But he
I
could
think-
drown him. But he could drown
No,
him.
but listen, and that's where I think the fight is gonna look different this time.
Okay.
Is O'Malley's gonna know, even if he does take me down, right? I don't have to worry about him finishing me on the floor. I just have to know how to fight back on
You
the
just have
floor.
to get up.
Yeah, yes,
No, not all the time. I think he's going to allow himself to be taken down a few times. And he's going to do the Kevin Holland tactic of we're going to stay down a little bit and we're going to see who can trade blows from down here.
So if he's able to land the shots from the ground, which I think Kevin Holland was able to do, but it's a rare thing that actually happens.
Not a knockout. Not a knockout.
But just in terms of but like, we were talking earlier about the judges. I still think that even if he lands the shots, I think that the judges will still probably score the takedown and the control time more than they would like. Because not a lot of power.
I agree.
That's where I'm like, I get where you're coming from. I think that we're looking at like volume of shots, numbers, stats at the end of the fight. I can see Sean landing more shots, but I think that what's going to be taken as weight, as gold, is going to be the takedown.
I by no means think that Sean O'Malley can in any way win this fight by a decision. So let's be clear about that. When I say he's going to take him down and stay down, I think what he can do is say, hey, I don't have to just piece you up on my feet. I can piece you up on the ground to the point where I have done enough damage to you by end of third, start of fourth. I catch you with that 1-2.
I see where
because I think everyone's expecting him to just stay on his feet and try to not get taken down. And I think with a guy like Merab, you have to accept he is going to take you down. But what can you do when he takes you down? Can you reverse out of it and then you're on top and give him a couple good ones? And that's where I see it.
Shout out to MMA Guru. Follow MMA Guru. He'll put you on some games. Shout out to MMA Guru. He was having the same. Again, I was watching Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse has a lot of good content.
I've met Mighty Mouse actually.
You did?
So I've gone to a bunch of the UFC Boston ones, and he was one of the guys I got to meet.
Shout out Mighty Mouse. He seems like a guy that I definitely got a couple cross paths. He'll be on the pod. He's a friend of the pod. Don't worry about it. But I was watching MMA Guru on that, and that's something that he was talking about when it came to the Shemaev aspect of things, where it's like, you know that this is going to happen, but you as a fighter can dictate how it goes when you land. Am I going to land on my back? Am I going to land on my side? Am I going to get to this position? Am I going to allow him in my full guard? How good is my full guard? All these little aspects of the fight you can control. Can you control him taking you down? No. Can you control how you land? Yeah. So I agree with you on that. So now you guys, you're giving me some intrigue here.
And this is why we have these exchanges, right? Because a lot of us, we have seen these fights. Some of us have trained, and you see certain things in fights that you say, okay, what are the adjustments that can be made, and what are the things that are inevitable, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody knows, if you fight a Dagestan,
you're waiting for the ride. You're waiting for the single leg or the double leg.
But it doesn't mean they can't lose, and it doesn't, right? Because you've seen some of the other guys that they've trained, right?
Yeah.
How they have lost, and it's always because people have said, I accepted I was going to get taken down. It's just, what do I do as that's happening? What position do I land in, like you're saying,
why it's
right?
like really important to know your fighter.
Right, and can I strike off my back? Do I know how to defend while I'm, because you see a lot of these, especially now that you can do these elbows and these knees and
They
stuff
haven't
like
took advantage enough, I think.
Thank you.
They go harder with the
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. That last fight night, that Gilbert Burns won, they took advantage. They took full advantage.
Yeah, there was a lot of.
They took a full advantage, and nothing was illegal. They took
legal
full
now.
advantage. I would say, I see Sean's path to victory is what you described. I see we're gonna damage him and get him to the point where he's thinks that he's got it, and then we're gonna clip him. That's where I see him winning. The fact that like Merab, when it comes to cardio, I don't see you depleting the gas tank as you can with some other wrestlers where like, like let's say 3 to 5 rounds. As long as you tire them out in round 1 or 2, you take the ride for the takedown they're gonna bring you, whatever. But you tire them out, you get that gas tank weary, round 3 or round 4 and 5, you can kind of take over. In this situation, you know that motherfucker's there round 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Be ready.
So there is nothing you can do with that. So I agree with you on that part. Where I still have to disagree in my heart of hearts. He did not change my mind, by the way. All the cameras I'm looking at. I still think Merab is just going to be too much of that top pressure where, like, as much as I want to believe, all right, he does some damage and maybe he, like, pops him in the eye.
Yeah, I'm going with Merab, more than likely.
I'm going to go O'Malley early.
I get what you're saying, but I really don't
Merab gonna get it.
Yeah, I feel that too.
My thing is, I more than likely see Merab winning the fight, but I wouldn't be surprised if O'Malley does figure it out. Because I do think he is the type of fighter that needs to be coming back.
Yeah.
Right? He likes that. That helps his image, especially if you know his background, right? Yeah. He is the underdog guy. That has always been his case, and it helps drive him to push to the next level and focus in these moments. I think he was too comfortable with winning the championship, defending it one time before, and feeling like, I'm that guy, right? Now I have all these NIL deals.
All the UFC promotion, the backing of everybody.
So much
fans,
promotion. And stuff. It all comes at once, and he was just more caring about promoting his image than it was about maintaining the supremacy that he had. And I think if you're not evolving as a martial artist, it just takes the next guy 1 or 2 fights to catch up to you. Yeah. And Merab is one of those guys that it doesn't matter who you are, he's gonna keep training to catch up to you.
1,000%. That's something we've brought up several times, talking about this one here, and honestly, this one right here. That money comes in and sleeping in on those silk sheets, bro. I don't know if you can do it.
You get too comfortable.
The body not callous.
As Future once said, fish don't get too comfortable.
Let's end this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Uneducated MMA. As Sanchez says, punch, kick. Quick little housekeeping notes. Always, please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe.
Just hit that button.
Yeah, just hit that button. Notification, ding, the whole thing. Like I told you guys several times before, honestly, just reach out to the DMs. If you guys want to be a part of the episodes and such, just let me know. I'm willing to have anybody and everybody on here. Obviously, I want to know that you have some MMA knowledge, but like, we can get deep like this, so we can go a little light. Cool with me. I just want to have you on.
It's always better.
I want to expand the community. Listen, I've been sitting behind. I've been sitting
from the bottom.
I've been sitting behind that desk with 806 for a long time now. Everybody and their grandmother comes around talking about football, basketball, baseball, this, that, and the third. I know there's those MMA heads out there, and I want to get you guys a part of the conversation and a part of the community. Yeah. And with that, I will also say,
let's see what's up.
Happy birthday to my boy, this Justin. Always gotta say, like I said, we started off the show. We gotta end the show with the shout out.
Let's get it.
Salute to the kid. Salute to the boys. Salute.
Let's get it, y'all. I got to take another shot. I really drank that shit.
Any other shout outs you guys got? Shout out to 806 the show. Shout out to Nerd God. Shout out to A Vibe Entertainment.
Bars,
shout out to Baldwin.
Let's get it.
Shout out to Gym Body Alchemist. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to Felicia de la Madres Dominicana. What else you got?
Shout out.
Jude, shout out to you, man. Thank you for coming on. And I'm sure you will be on again. Honestly, a lot sooner than you think. But you will be on again. Yeah, this is a great episode, man. Thank you so much for
Not for real, man. And I've always said, I'm down to do it only because, I do have the interest that you guys share when it comes to MMA. When it comes to a lot of sports, and I think it's good that we can find these spaces to have these combos where we put our opinions out there, and we don't need to be the experts to do it, right?
No. Yeah.
We just need to have the belief and the passion.
Disclaimer.
Right?
Yeah.
Uneducated.
Yeah,
so the passion that we have is what makes this interesting. And I think you'll be seeing a lot more people joining this, and we'll be, doing different formats. One day we may be in the studio. Who knows? One day we may be at a fight, right?
That's what I'm hoping. Press passes, baby. Press passes.
Come on, Dana.
That's what we're waiting on. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that has been another episode of Uneducated MMA. I'm your host of the most wanted red, the BMF champion of the world, REG. And this Justin. We are out. Peace.
Get it, sir.